out over the past few days. So we can talk about all of that, but we are going to break down what we're going to be seeing at AEW tonight. So we've got Jon Moxley taking on Brody King. This is for the AEW Interim World Championship. You might remember that Brody King won that Rampage Rumble. So he now gets a shot at Jon Moxley. I'm not expecting it to be a case that Jon Moxley is going to lose. But I kind of like the fact that we've got a new challenger. We've got someone a bit different. We've got a match that's fresh. I mean, it feels fresh because it is fresh. And I kind of like that. So, yeah, I'm down for this. The other thing as well is I know that Brody King isn't really someone that you would see as being that level. But because he won that Rumble, it means that he is a credible challenger. He's earned the opportunity. So no issue with that whatsoever. We've got Scorpio Sky taking on Wardlow in a TNT Championship street fight. This could be fun. I think these two are both great workers. They're both very, very popular. Obviously, the Wardlow hype train has maybe just took a little bit of a knock. I think when he was doing that kind of stuff with the security guards, I personally didn't need that. That wasn't something that I was looking for from Wardlow. So this is good. Getting him in there with a real great worker. Someone that, you know, a street fight as well. Someone that's going to give him a really, really good contest. I'm down for seeing what those two can deliver. Then we're going to hear from Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. We've got that happening. Obviously, Luchasaurus embracing his heelish side. I haven't heard from him, though, so I don't know what his motives are. I don't know why he's decided to stay with Christian. That'll be interesting. We got Thunderstorm, which is Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm, taking on Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. So, Nyla Shafir. Thunderstorm versus Nyla Shafir. We've got that as a women's tag match. And then the only other thing that's been announced is Butcher and Blades taking on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. So normally we get about 7 or 8 kind of announcements. This week we've got 5. That means that there's going to be a few matches and a few things that happen that we're not aware of and we haven't been told in advance. And I'm sure those could leak through within the next hour. It's no biggie. But yeah, there's some stuff there that looks pretty good. AEW Interim World Title on the line, TNT Championship. I mean, look, they always try to stack the shows, and I think they've done that this week as well. Brenton, hello. Shout out to you. Hope you are well. Jim said, I disagree about Brody King. He was always in a Ring of Honor world title picture. Daniel says, I've just joined. You are amazing. Shout out to you, Daniel. Amin says, hello, Daze and chat. Almighty Nick, hello, says Moxley Brody King tonight. Yes. Kyle, hello, hope you are well. So, yeah, we were going to talk about some news that's gone down, and you might have seen that WES promotion is not going to go ahead now. So they were meant to have a show, I believe, over in, was it Saudi or something like this? They were going to do a show abroad, and then that fell through. I think it was around the time where the Saudi royal prince passed away. I remember it being around the same time as the Mayweather thing. So there was some disruption. They ended up moving it to Nottingham. And then when they were in Nottingham, it fell on the same weekend as the Queen's Jubilee. So all of a sudden then, they couldn't do it that weekend because there was loads of disruption. There was loads of parties. There was all this kind of stuff. So then that didn't happen. And then they rescheduled it. And now news has come out that it's now not going to happen. Apparently loads of wrestlers have been dropping out of this event. And as a result, it's not going to go ahead anymore. One of the wrestlers that was named was Nia Jax. Apparently, she decided to not compete. But they have come out and said that they've paid the wrestlers. But now we're starting to hear people saying no, they haven't. So I did see this on Sean Ross Sapp's Twitter account, he was saying that he's trying to follow up as to what the truth is with this, because it's not the biggest news in the world, but it is quite interesting, just knowing what's happening out there outside of AEW, outside of WWE. It is kind of interesting to have a look around, and as we said, this was quite a big show, and it's fallen through, unfortunately. Almighty Nick, shout out to you. It is just worth mentioning, I have updated a load of the super chats. I am trying to find a way of making these streams bigger, better, more engaging. It's cool that we've got Kenny if you become a sponsor, because I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that it did that if you became a sponsor, so that one's new to me. But I've gone back and got a few classic Daze clips for certain like super chat price points. I've put all of those in the description. I want to try and get like more. I want to try and fill it up, basically. But I must have about 30 or so that I've loaded into Streamlabs. So, yeah, I'm just constantly looking at finding ways of making it a little bit more interactive. And we will continue doing that as well. Thoughts on Man United's business and Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Will you do a watch along? He's announcing a new opponent tomorrow. So thoughts on Man United. I think that they're slow. I think that it's a bit frustrating, but I'm quite excited by the left back they signed. I think Eriksen's on the verge. I don't know if we get De Jong, but I mean, I feel like that's a 50-50 deal. I just hope if we're not getting him, we walk away. And then, like, you know, focus elsewhere. So it's hard to judge. So far, I would say not great, but at least we're starting to do something now. In regards to Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, I saw that was cancelled earlier, and so that fight is now not happening. He is going to find a new opponent. The rumoured opponent is it Ross's name? Hasim Rahman. Hasim Rahman Jr., who his dad fought Lennox Lewis. This guy, who doesn't really have much of a following or much of a... Well, he's got a name because his dad was like a massive star, but he himself doesn't have much of a name. I was looking at his record. He's 12-1. The people that he beats are kind of Tommy Fury levels, to be honest. Like, you know, the people that Tommy beats aren't that great, and the people that he's beaten aren't that great. He did face a tough challenge in April and lost by TKO. So he's not a top-tier boxer, but he is a boxer. And I think that this one is... It's going to be tricky because you've got a very short window in a very short amount of time to try and introduce this guy to people and present him as being a threat. But he is a boxer. He has got 13 fights. 12-1 is his record. Obviously, it's not confirmed it's going to be this guy, but this is who it's believed to be. Hasim Rahman Jr., I believe his name is. And I am looking forward to seeing, like, I want to see the announcement and see if it does go that way. Will we do the watch-along for it? I think there's a good chance that we will. There's a lot of interest in Jake Paul. And Jake Paul, to me, as I've said, you know, we've watched all his previous fights, and he is at the point now where he is, you know, a professional boxer and is ready to take on boxers. That's the only criticism that you can really throw at Jake Paul. You can pick him up on a few things with his technique. I do think that he's a little bit slow. I do think he's a little bit flat-footed. I don't think he is as good as he believes he is. And I'm not saying that just to throw shade. I just think that there hasn't been much that I've seen that's really impressed me from Jake Paul, but I did like the knockout, obviously. He found that big shot. He found that knockout of Woodley. That was very impressive. But I think if you actually look at like the rounds before and even the fight before, the first time he faces Woodley, it's not great. There's some stuff in there there's some big openings which a proper boxer you'd have to think would exploit. He really does give away openings, opportunities. I'm sure he's full of confidence, but yeah, I just think he's going to come up against a boxer and get found out. Is this going to be that person? It'll be a real flat way for it to all come crashing down. I know that much. And I don't know how popular that watch-along or event will be now, but we'll see. We'll see what gets announced tomorrow. Do me a favor, Brett or Sean, better wrestler, not or worker, not the same thing. More entertaining in your opinion. Favorite matches, Heart, HBK, Iron Man is one of mine. So Brett or Sean, if I was to choose, I would say Sean. I think that the better wrestler is Brett. I think the better worker is Sean. I think who was more entertaining, I would, for me personally, I would say it was Sean. I think that his selling and was better. I think that Brett was a lot more technical. I think that he had a wider variety in his moveset. I think that he flowed better as well. So I think that not only was he did he have the bigger moveset, but I think that the fluidity that he had in the ring, the way that he transitioned between the moves, the way that he would, I mean, like, he carried matches as well. I mean, we all know about him and British Bulldog and carrying that match. I mean, he was a ring general. I don't know that Shawn Michaels was, because he was so lazy in the 90s and such a difficult person to get along with. I genuinely don't know if he was leading the dance, and do you know what I mean? Had Shawn Michaels been in the main event of SummerSlam 92, it would have been a disaster, because Shawn Michaels would have done his stuff and looked amazing, but he would not have carried Davey to a good match, because at that point, Shawn Michaels wouldn't have cared if it was a good match. Shawn Michaels was all about Shawn Michaels. So I think that Brett was more of a team player. That's undeniable. I think that Brett he had a wider moveset. I think, like, when it comes to submissions, I think that he, is dungeon trained, which Shawn Michaels, to my knowledge, wasn't. Shawn Michaels, I just think he was a showman. He was a bigger showman. His selling was so much better. Like, you always felt that Shawn Michaels was in, like, at times a really bad place. He was having to dig real deep. His reach into the ropes, he's gasping for air, he's holding on to his head, he's in absolute pain. There's some really, really good stuff that Shawn would bring that you didn't get so much out of Brett. I prefer watching Shawn matches, but I can acknowledge that Brett's the better wrestler. And then, like, favourite matches between them? Favorite matches between them. I mean, the Iron Man actually loses me at times, if I'm being honest. I think the Iron Man is a great match and it's a great achievement, but I do think there's large parts of it that I kind of zone out of. So it's like the ending's obviously really good and there's some nice moments like dotted throughout, but I would say overall it's not one of my favorite matches. So, and they faced each other, obviously they faced each other in Survivor Series 97, which is the Montreal Screwjob. Faced each other in 92 Survivor Series, which is not a great match, but it's so-so. To be honest, my favourite match between them, and we have spoke about this recently, would probably be the first ever ladder match. The first ever ladder match is Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart in WWE, and it's one that I discovered obviously later in life because it was, I think, on either an episode of Superstars or like a Coliseum exclusive. I think it was a Coliseum exclusive, actually. I think it was on Coliseum Home Videos. I seem to remember him talking to like Gorilla Monsoon about it, and then they introduced it and they went over to it. But it happened in, we've spoke about it recently, 92. The one at WrestleMania 10 is in 94. It's Brett that has the idea for the ladder match. He wanted to show Vince what it was all about. Vince says, fine, pick an opponent, go and do it. And so he picks Shawn and they go out there and it's not the greatest ladder match. I would say that the one at WrestleMania 10 is better, but it's good. It's still really, really good. And if I was to revisit one, I would go and watch that over WrestleMania 10. Right, let's try and get into some of these chats. James, shout out to you. Did you see what Adam Cole said recently? So I saw a sit-down interview. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but was it the one with RJ City where he sat down and like he got asked about his physique and he refused to answer any questions on that? Is it that we're talking about? I didn't see anything kind of come out of it that was controversial or has like gone into like reports or anything. But I did see he'd done that sit down interview. So you'll have to let me know if that's the one, James. Let me know. Hope you're well. Moldy, shout out to you. Says Malacia wasn't the first sign in. Don't forget Dividendino. I don't even know who that is. 11 million bargain. Rumors he can play as CDM. I legit don't know who that is. I heard we'd signed a keeper, but I haven't heard that we've signed whoever that is. So that's news to me. King of Wrestling says, are you expecting anything tonight on Dynamite? What do you mean by expecting? I mean, we know what the card is going to be. So we've got Moxley and King facing for the interim world championship. Scorpio Sky against Wardlow in a street fight. I mean, there's potential that we could get a new champion there, but I would think it unlikely, to be honest. We've got Butcher and Blade taking on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus will be speaking, and Thunderstorm taking on Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. I am hyped for AEW Dynamite, says Hayden. Very good. So you should be. Should be a really enjoyable show. Dividend Dino. Okay, I don't know who that is. I have no idea what that is. But Moldy, I hope you are well. Favorite match that includes them, not necessarily Brett Shawn. I love Brett Austin at WrestleMania 13. A bit of an obvious pick. HBK Shelton Benjamin is fantastic. I couldn't look past Undertaker Shawn. Whenever I think of Shawn Michaels, my favorite match is WrestleMania 25. And actually, I'd go as far as to say it's probably my favorite ever WWE match. So I have a bit of a boring answer, unfortunately, but it is the truth. I think the reason why that one resonated with me personally so much is not just because of the light and the dark going against each other, but I think also the fact that I was watching it with someone that wasn't a wrestling fan, and they were so engaged, so engrossed. They absolutely loved it. Like, they were on the edge of their seat. And I think to experience that by watching someone that, I mean, they never watched wrestling. It was, I think, might even been the first show they'd seen. So they didn't know, they'd heard of Undertaker. They didn't know Shawn Michaels, but they'd heard of Undertaker. And for them to be so into it, they were into it like, I mean, they couldn't be much more into it. So to kind of see it, like, with them and see the effect it was having on someone that doesn't normally watch, amazing. So yeah, love that. It was Glazers taking 11 million now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what dividends is, but when you said dividendino, I was like, I didn't know what that was. Did you watch the Great American Bash? I didn't. No. I hope you enjoyed it. Sonny said, I'm trying to figure out where William is. He's not answered me all day. Oh, I hope he's all right. James said, Cole said that Triple H and HBK kept in touch with him on a regular basis to see how he is. Very good. I didn't hear that, but that's cool. It's good that they've got that kind of support out there. And, I mean, look, it's not their decision. Like, they wanted him to stay. And I would imagine checking in with him, look, everything all right, doors always open. I'm not saying that they're only doing it for that reason, but I'd imagine there's a real relationship there, you know? I mean, Adam Cole was massive. He was massive for NXT. So I don't think they wanted him to go. I think they were, apparently there was a meeting between him and Vince. And so, I think they probably just want to check in, see everything's all right. Also, if you want to come back, doors open. But I think also there probably is like a real relationship that's there. Like, he was the driving force of that brand for quite a while. Big Time Baxter said, with Liv winning the title, I do wonder if Ronda requested it because she felt she knew WWE wanted Charlotte to beat her at SummerSlam. Maybe she opted to put over a new face. Yeah, to be honest, that's a part of the story that I'm not seeing reported. Why did Ronda choose someone? Forget that it was Liv. Why did she choose anyone to take the title off of her? Like, why? How did we get to that? I haven't seen that actually reported anyway. I think that's a really interesting talking point. Why did Ronda want someone to take the belt off her? She apparently never wanted the belt, never requested the belt, wasn't that bothered by the belt. And there was a conversation where she said, put it on the most passionate, most dedicated person. And, they looked at the situation and decided to go with Liv Morgan. So, I mean, fair play. But I don't know why the belt was taken off Ronda anyway. So, yeah, you could be right. You could be right. Maldy said, Dividend Eno. I can't even say it. It's really hard. Dividend Eno will be our only new player going to preseason. We did sign that Malacia, didn't we? Which I'm really excited about. And apparently Ericsson's literally on the verge of signing. I had heard that we had signed a goalkeeper, but he's only like a young 16-year-old. So to be honest, when you first sent in that message, and you said, he was not our first signing, such and such was. My first reaction was, is that the name of the goalkeeper? Why the hell can he play centre defensive midfielder? Because I was listening to a podcast the other day and they said that we hadn't signed anyone, and someone corrected them saying, no, we have signed this 16-year-old goalkeeper. So, yeah, I mean, look, as far as I know, Malacia, the first proper signing, and then I think Ericsson will come in, and then 50-50 on whether we get De Jong. I mean, it's not really fixing where our problems are, to be honest. I mean, for me, right back's a bigger problem than left back, because I do think Luke Shaw, under the right management, should come good again. He's so I do think we need a right back, and also central defensive midfielder. I know that you can put De Jong back there, but he can't carry that burden on his own, and we've not signed him. So, do you know what I mean? We really do need, and you can't play Ericsson there. We really do need a CDM. I don't know if he'll look to play Donny van der Beek, but hey, look, this is a whole conversation for a whole nother time. Are you ready for Roman to return SmackDown on Friday? I'm always ready. Always ready. Brenton said, does she want time off? Is she hurt? Maybe that's why she lost. I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm not aware that she's hurt because she wrestled a match before. I don't know if she wants a little bit of time off, but saying that, she can't have too long because she's surely going to be at SummerSlam. So I genuinely don't know. It'd be interesting to see if there's any more bits of news that come out on that. But I think Liv winning, overshadowed. Why did Ronda lose? Why did Ronda decide to not carry it anymore? I don't know. I can't answer that. I will keep an eye out. Tortnight said, did you see the tennis? God, we're all over the place today, aren't we? We're talking football, we're talking tennis. I didn't see the tennis, no. Nadal is a beast. Did you see England's women? They won 1-0. It's coming home. And are you looking forward to Shields versus Marshall? Damn, man. Damn. So, Shields versus Marshall, I am looking forward to. Massive women's boxing fight. I was watching some of the press conference on that, actually. So, I am looking forward to that. I did have the women's game on whilst I was doing a few bits. 1-0, I saw the goal. Little bit lucky that it did cross. It was obviously cleared kind of off the line, but it did go behind. And then that proved to be the only goal of the game. So I think they played all right, but they're going to need to play a lot better if they are going to go on to win it. So that's that. And Wimbledon, I've not been watching, but I am interested in watching. Is it Norrie, the British guy that's got to the semi-finals? I am interested in watching him. But to be honest, I only have a passing interest in tennis. I used to watch it a lot as I was growing up, as a kid. Wimbledon's obviously a massive, massive thing, but I think just years out of Federer, Nadal, Djokovic winning has kind of just meant that I'm just not really that bothered. I mean, there were some nice moments where, like, Andy Murray was doing well, but I think if you haven't got anyone that realistically can go far in the tournament, then I just haven't really felt a part of it. So I watched, like, a bit of Emma Raducanu, but I knew that she wasn't going to get very far. And then I haven't watched any of Norrie. Norrie's kind of took me and him, I think, by surprise. So, I mean, it just shows, doesn't it, in sport, you never know. So I will be watching his semi-final, hoping that he can get the job done. I think he is he playing Djokovic? I think he is playing Djokovic. So I don't expect him to get past that, but we'll see. Jerry said, who do you want to win tonight out of Wardlow or Scorpio Sky? I would like... Damn, it's hard because I like both of them, actually. I think Wardlow is great, and I just want him having incredible matches, and this is absolutely one of them. But I really rate Scorpio Sky as well, so I sort of feel like if we are pushing Wardlow, then Wardlow probably should get the victory. But I think that there's probably ways that we can prevent Wardlow from winning this time. I mean, you're obviously going to have Dan Lambert around. I would imagine that there's every chance there could be some American top team people that get involved. I'm sure that because it's a street fight, no DQ, there's plenty of opportunity for outside interference. Not that really I want to see that. I mean, even saying that makes me like, that's not really what I want to be seeing. I want to see these two have a street fight. Best person wins. I think the best person should be Wardlow. I mean, if I'm being honest, if these two are going to go out there and have a street fight, and I had to put money on someone, I'd put it on Wardlow. But I think there's potential for outside interference, which might just mean that Scorpio Sky escapes with the belt. But it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously, I expect Moxley to retain, but I do think that the TNT match is a little harder to predict, a little closer to call. And actually, what we can do is we can jump into the chat and ask that very question and see what you lot think. As there's the controls, the keyboards. Let's put it in and see who leaves as TNT champion. Who do you think is going to leave tonight as TNT champion? Do you think it will be Scorpio Sky, or do you think it's going to be Wardlow? Which way do you think they will go? As I said, if this was a straight-up fight, I would imagine that it would be Wardlow. That's who would get my support, where my money would go. But there's every chance that something goes down to prevent that from happening. Trini said, a Ronda fan page has put together reasons that why she wanted the title off. The main one is that she doesn't think Charlotte needs to be put over by her. She wanted to put over who needed it. Okay, so it sounds like the plans were that she was going to drop the belt to Charlotte at SummerSlam then, and she didn't want to do that, and so she's put Liv over instead. Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, to be honest, I don't disagree with that. Charlotte doesn't need it, but if anything, actually, I would have done that match, but I would have had Ronda go over because Ronda managed to win. I mean, look, Ronda lost at WrestleMania 35. That was a big loss, and she went away for a long time, right? I mean, I know she went off to like have a family and do a few other bits and bobs and whatever, but that was a big loss for her on a big stage. That is the first ever women's WrestleMania main event, and she was the one that got pinned. And you know what's really interesting? They haven't spoken about her shoulders not quite being down. They haven't touched on that subject. They might do when we get to her and Becky and that feud, but they haven't touched on it yet. So I just think that was a big loss. Then she came back and she wasn't successful at WrestleMania again this year. So, she went in. I think we all expected her to win. I don't mind her not winning because it set up the rematch for WrestleMania Backlash. It made that show a little bit bigger. And also, she got the win there, so she did win eventually. But I just sort of think, like, at the moment, it feels like they're quite close. They're quite even. her and Charlotte. They've, I know that Charlotte wasn't the reason that Ronda lost at WrestleMania 35, but, they've got that history. They faced at WrestleMania, and Ronda didn't get the title. They then faced at WrestleMania Backlash, Ronda did. So it feels like these two, they've done a really good job of making them feel quite close. And they faced a Survivor Series, didn't they, with like kendo sticks and everything. I feel like Ronda might have won then, but we are going back to her first run, which was quite a while ago now. I sort of feel like you could have done a SummerSlam match, Ronda, Charlotte, the final encounter. You could have done something like that, and I would have put Ronda over. I would have had Ronda go over. Ronda versus Charlotte, the final matchup, the final encounter. Yeah, you bill it as being this is it. The stipulation is they cannot face each other for another couple of years or something. Because there's so many other opponents for the women to go and face. They really don't need to keep facing each other. So, you could have had a big blow-off, and I would have gone with Ronda personally. But we'll see. We'll see what the plans are now. Maybe we still get that match, but the title's just not involved. Don't know. Harvey said, if you was to pick a Hall of Famer for WrestleMania 39 host, who would it be? Mine would be Taker. If I was to pick a Hall of Famer to be WrestleMania 39 host, so a Hall of Famer that hosts WrestleMania 39, I would pick... Well, The Rock is super obvious. I know he's not in the Hall of Fame, but, he is a Hall of Famer because we're in Hollywood. But I'm hoping he's going to have a match, so I wouldn't have him host and have a match. So I would not go that way. I wouldn't do Hogan because we've done that. And I wouldn't do Stone Cold because this year was very Stone Cold. I feel like we don't need Stone Cold next year. I wouldn't do Ric Flair because there's a bit of controversy there. I wouldn't do... Would I do Mick Foley? Or would I do Shawn? I might do Shawn. Or I might do Bret. Do you know what? I might do Bret Hart. I know it's a bit strange because we're not in Canada, but I do feel that we don't celebrate Bret enough. And I don't really think we celebrate Shawn that much either. I feel the WWE is very focused on the here and now. And I think, when was the last time Bret was on Raw or SmackDown? I feel like we could do something with Bret where we kind of celebrate his career and we show his greatest moments and he comes out and he speaks to the crowd. You'd want to do that in Canada, but I don't know when WrestleMania is going back to Canada. They haven't announced it. So I don't know if we can wait for that, to be honest. So I don't mind Bret Hart. And as I said, Shawn Michaels as well. I know he's busy down in NXT, but he would be someone. I really feel that a platform of that stage, a platform of that magnitude where you get to be the host of WrestleMania and it is all eyes on you, it's a big responsibility, and it really shows that the company trusts in you, and it really shows that you are, someone, if you've got that kind of hosting responsibility. So I think someone like Bret, someone like Shawn, it should be like an honor really to be asked to do that, and I do think that those two would be more than worthy of that honor. Triple H is a bit too close, I think, to the family. I don't think that would feel right for me to go that way. I don't think I would go that way. Mick Foley, we've seen him in that kind of authority role. I don't know if I'd do that. Paige would have been good. Paige is a great host. I thought she was a great GM. So Paige could have been good. I know, she's not in the Hall of Fame, but I think she can do a really good job. So, she could have been interesting. She could have done something. But, yeah, there's a few names there. Maybe a few obvious names, but you're only really going to get obvious names when it comes to a Hall of Fame. Let's scroll up. Wrestler with Andy. Hello, bud. Hope you are well. Please acknowledge Ahmed Johnson as the rightful host of WrestleMania. Ahmed Johnson. Do you know what? I'm going to say something a bit controversial here. I never really got Ahmed Johnson. Never really understood the hype around him. I know that he was a big guy. I know that there was a lot of... I mean, they did try and push him. I mean, he had, like, good rivalry with the Nation of Domination. And, you know, he had a good size to him. And he was someone that you definitely looked at and thought they could get to, like, the title. But I never really got it. Never really, I don't know. I don't know that he was the most charismatic. I feel that he had a good look, but just his entrance gear was a bit dull. I can't even remember his entrance music. I can't remember, like, any gripping promos. I mean, I can remember a few matches of his because I grew up, obviously, watching WWF, and so I can remember a few matches, mainly from, like, In Your House kind of events is where, when I think of Ahmed Johnson, I think of In Your House. Which isn't really, you know, what you want to be thinking of if you're thinking of someone that's a potential world champion. So I never really saw it in him. But there was people that did. There was definitely people that did. I had some friends that really liked Ahmed Johnson at the time. Austin, hello, bud. Hope you are well. Austin said Charlotte is undefeated at SummerSlam. If we do get Ronda versus Liv versus Charlotte, do you see Charlotte winning? I feel like WWE acknowledging her undefeated streak last year has meaning. Has me leaning yes. Do I see Charlotte winning at SummerSlam? Some bad lag. Hopefully it resolves and restores, and hopefully we do get back. So, boom, big shout out to everyone that's joining us. Hope everyone is having a good evening out there. Yeah, just to, as I said, hopefully we are back now. Hopefully, just to answer that question, I think that there's a chance that Charlotte could win. It seems like they wanted Charlotte to win because Charlotte, from what I'm being told here, was looked like she was going to be beating Ronda at SummerSlam. So it certainly looks like Charlotte having the title is a plan. And, you know, her winning at SummerSlam, I think, yeah, there's every opportunity of that happening. I mean, what I do think, though, is that it's really down to Liv now to show that she can draw. I mean, look, if the crowd can get right behind Liv and her segments can do big numbers and, you know, the message can get through that she is, you know, she might not have been the person they planned, but they've put the title on her. And she is a good person to have that title on now. Like, she needs to show that she is the right person to have that title. So I think that Charlotte stands a very good chance of winning at SummerSlam. But those plans, as we know, can change. Heather, shout out to you. Had to let go of that mini schnauzer. Oh, she was 15. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, Heather. That's awful news. Awful news. Yeah, I think that I've not had to go through that myself yet, because we've only ever had one dog, and we've, you know, still got her. But I just can't think about that day when that comes. So and it's gonna come. I mean, if you're a pet owner, you know that day's gonna come at some point. So really sorry to hear that, Heather. Hoping to see the new Bowser-saurus again tonight, says Esteban. Says thank you, Daze. Thank you, Austin. Theory for Hall of Fame class in 2037. Theory in 15 years, I would say, is too soon, to be honest. I don't think he goes in that quick. I think, listen, I think you could start thinking about him having a career that results in him going into the Hall of Fame, yes. But I don't think he'll be in by 2037, because he's only like 24 or something. That means in 15 years, he's going to be 39. In 15 years' time, he'll be 39, which is insane. So, yeah, I think that he is... probably gonna have hopefully a career well into his 40s, and they don't tend to like to put people in until their careers are done. So, yeah, I reckon he could go in, but it'll be 2040 something for fans of the future out there. Did you see Rhea's tweet that replied to a scumbag saying she should be abused? No. But we all know, like, Twitter is an absolute cesspool. Shotzi deleted her account, didn't she? Because, and to be honest, I typed out a couple of tweets and then I, like, deleted them because I thought, do you know what? I don't know if this is constructive or not. I don't know if I'm, like, am I practicing what I preach? Because the tweet that I sent out was going to send was literally just saying, like, if you are one of the people that got in touch with Shotzi and told her that she should be fired, then you need to sort your life out type situation. I mean, that's all I was saying. But I thought, like, man, am I just adding more, like, negativity? Was it negativity? I don't know. I decided, like, I'm not going to send it. So I didn't bother sending it out. But, yeah, it's bad, man. But you know what? This is not anything new. These kind of things happen all the time, but it's just that, we're seeing Rhea respond. We're seeing Shotzi get affected by it. And, it's something that the Twitter platform has really got to get a hold of. It's really, really got to get a hold of somehow. Because, I know that freedom of speech and all of that, and people get, like, really nervous when, you kind of tamper with that. People should be allowed to speak their minds, but there's got to be some way of let people say what they want, but there's got to be a way that Twitter can filter out that negativity. So, fine, you can say it, but I don't have to hear it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm Shotzi, you can say it, you can tweet it, you can at me, right? But it should not appear on my notifications unless I enable all messages. Do you know what I mean? Anything that the system can pick up as being negative should be filtered out. And so that way, like, when you go through your notifications, you just see, like, positive, like, normal messages, positive messages, but anything that's, like, negative, anything that's like, you should lose your job, all that kind of stuff, gets filtered out the way. You can still say it if you are one of them people. I don't need to see it. I just think, like, Twitter needs to try and... Maybe the software's not there yet. Maybe the system's not there yet. But it's got to move to that kind of direction. Because it's just not good, is it? This is just... constant because obviously Sonya Deville has spoke about, like, receiving death threats. There's been, like, quite a few superstars that get those kind of messages. I remember Alexa tweeting out as well about it. Oh God, who was it? Bianca. This wasn't even on Twitter, but Bianca put a message out saying, can fans kind of back off a little bit because, and this one isn't like a negativity thing, but just shows that fans are out of control. She was at a red light, waiting to go in a car, I think with Montez, and a fan came up, knocked on the window. I wanted, like, an autograph or something. And she was like, it's not safe for me, and it's not safe for you to be doing things like that. And I mean, to a degree, you're always going to get things like that because people get so crazy about celebrities. So, do you know what I mean? They get this urge of, like, I've got to speak to them. It's my now or never moment. But that's not true, is it? If you went to, a meet and greet or, kind of went to Access or whatever, I'm sure, like, you'd get a chance to meet Bianca Belair. Meeting Bianca Belair, I'm sure, is an achievable thing. Like, you don't need to do it at a red light when she's in a car. So, it's pretty crazy. But it's nothing new. I'm not telling you anything you don't know or anything that hasn't been happening for a long, long time anyway, So, I sort of feel that Twitter needs to do some more policing. Or we just take the accounts off the wrestlers. I mean, why are the wrestlers on their own accounts? They should have their own, like, burner personal accounts, or even just burner accounts, fake names, fake photos, all that kind of stuff. And just, if they want to go on Twitter, then I'm sure many of them do anyway. I'm sure there's loads of superstars that have like fake accounts that they operate under so that you don't know that it's them. But yeah, like the official WWE Twitter accounts, the ones that the characters kind of use, if you will, they could just be picked up by the company. Do you know what I mean? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth like the hassle? I mean, I know it's a great way of connecting with fans, but man, they connect with fans all the time. Do you know what I mean? They connect with fans at the show. There's fans that want to meet them after the show. There's fans at their hotels. There's constantly getting messages from fans. So I don't know. I don't know if they need that hassle, but it's got to be looked at, innit? Did you know that Rene Dupree is younger than Max Dupree? I can believe Max Dupree. I mean, obviously, Max Dupree, Eli Drake's been around for a long, long time, so I can believe that. I can believe that. Good stat, though. Good fact. Right, I feel like I'm a little bit behind here. Is it bad that instead of watching Raw, I watched 2002 SmackDown on Peacock? No. Brenton said, I forgot about HBK's trilogy with Kurt Angle in the mid-2000s. There's too many good matches to remember. Hasib said, to be honest, isn't Charlotte getting boring and stale? I feel like they need to evolve her like Seth has done and Roman has done and Becky has done. I don't know, to be honest, because I think that she is what she is. She will always be the daughter of Ric Flair, and I think that she will always, and I think it's right that she always comes out and carries herself as the queen and wears those incredible robes and, you know, like the wooing. I mean, she's never going to get away from the wooing. I mean, it's going to be hard to repackage Charlotte. Charlotte is a heel. She is someone that's not meant to be liked. She is someone that is, you know, the daughter of arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. And, of course, that is arguably, but he is in the conversation at the very least. You know, she's got incredible robes. She's great on the mic. She's great in the ring. I do agree that she's a bit stale, but I don't think that's anything that a good creative storyline can't fix. I just think that she needs good creative storyline to get her teeth into. And she obviously is away at the moment. When she comes back, hopefully she gets that. Dork Knight said, some great news. You can currently get a trial for Paramount Channel, which doesn't have much at the minute, but it has The Complete Friends and The Complete Frasier. Well, that is great news. Dark Angel said, I don't get the obsession with celebrity and public figures. There's no one on the planet that I like. I want to meet them. I hope MJF comes back and costs Wardlow, says Real Talk. Now that's interesting. We've been talking about a lot of different things during this AEW kind of a preview, if you will. But just to bring it back to AEW, MJF. I mean, obviously we don't know what's happening there. I do believe it to be a work. I do believe it to be a case that I think he is wanting more money. I don't think that's an issue. But I would imagine that his contract is obviously up, I believe, 2024. I believe that Tony Khan probably has said you're going to get a big juicy bonus, like, you know, big raise when we get to that. I can totally believe that MJF is a bit miffed that he's got to wait that long. Like, I can believe a lot of things. I don't believe that what we're seeing is real and that he is airing his grievances on TV, or that, you know, the fact that we've not seen him in a few weeks is legit. I personally am of the opinion this is a work like many people out there. But it's going to be interesting to know what the next steps are with this story, because I think that it feels finely balanced to me. I would say that we're in a really interesting place with the MJF storyline, because they've worked really hard to convince people that this is real, and they are really dedicating themselves to it, and they are really trying to get the story over, and I applaud them for, you know, doing that and sticking to that and trying to get this over as a believable story. But, yeah, what do you do next with him? I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's really hard to know. You kind of have to think, if this was really happening, what would MJF do? And I wonder, would he go onto some interviews? Would he do some interviews and speak out about how he wants out of his contract? Tony's not letting him out. And like, maybe he would do that. I mean, I don't know. Would he just sit at home silently? Maybe he would. I mean, that's what Sasha and Naomi are doing at the moment. They're, not hearing from them at the moment. So, I don't know. It's really hard to know. It's hard to book because it's hard to know exactly what would happen. I suppose you'd have to sit down with him and go, look, if this really happened, what would you do? Him coming in and attacking Wardlow, I think you are then abandoning the story of him wanting out of his contract, because he wouldn't do that, would he? If he wanted out of his contract, he ain't going to come down and attack Wardlow tonight. So I think what we do next has got to be really careful, because it really depends what story you're trying to do and where you're trying to go with all of this. So, yeah, it's really, really interesting at the moment. I don't know when we see him, and when we do see him, I don't know what he should do. It's really, really difficult. This is one that I would have to sit down and really, really be giving some thought to, because we haven't seen this kind of storyline in wrestling, much at all. This kind of worked shoot type story. It's not a story that we tend to get all that often, and certainly not one that gets kind of invested into this level as well. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I'm intrigued to see what they do next. Jim said Charlotte needs Tessa. The Daughters of the Horsemen could be interesting for WWE to tell. Truth and Faith says, I want War to win, Wardlow, and yet Scorpion and crew will cheat due to numbers and they will get the win over Wardlow. How long do you think Sky and Wardlow goes? Heard a rumour that Sky is injured. I was expecting it to go around about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes type ballpark. I mean, I don't actually know what the main event is tonight, so I can't answer as to which one is the main event. But I was probably expecting it to do around that, about 8 to 10 minutes. Where it is he going? He could debut in the Rumble, says Robs. Well, as we said, I think that he'll just resign. I do think that unless Tony secures his services before the contract expires, like, they should be talking with, 6 months to go, something like that. And once Tony should be, basically doing whatever MJF wants, because he is very important to that company. I do think, though, that as much as I believe this is a work, if WWE come in with a big, juicy offer, if WWE come in with something that really turns heads, like, there's a chance that he could go. Because I think that he will be looking at how Cody is being used, and I think that now Cody is over there. Cody obviously has got a great relationship with Vince, and it looks like he's going to be pushed to the moon. So at the moment, everything's all rosy, and I've got to think that they're aware of MJF. They've seen what he can do. They know the talent he is. I'm sure Cody is saying positive things. None of this is changing my mind about this being a work, but I'm just saying that I think WWE could make a play for him, because what have they got to lose? And actually, if they do come in with a big juicy offer, all it does is it forces Tony's hand to either increase his offer or lose a big star. So Tony could end up losing MJF or a lot of money. Either way, Tony could end up losing something. So it makes perfect sense for WWE to make a play for MJF. It does make perfect sense for them to go in for him. And I think they'll go in with a nice offer. But, look, that ain't going to be happening anytime soon. So, it's an interesting one, though. Liv beating Ronda is a big deal because she's only been pinned 3 times in WWE. Surely if Liv loses the title, she can't flounder in the mid-card again, jobbing, because they sacrifice Ronda's legitimacy. I really don't know an answer to that, to be honest, because they didn't necessarily want Liv to be winning Money in the Bank. She wasn't someone that they were high on to the point where that was the plan all along. So I don't know that they are going to look at it that way. I think what they're going to look at is, how is her title run? If her title run does big segments, big ratings, then that is going to be a big advantage for Liv, and maybe it saves her from going back to a mid-card scene, and maybe it keeps her around the title picture because they know she's got the support, the WWE Universe with her, she's very popular, all this kind of stuff. So, that could make a difference. But I don't think, Ronda lost to Liv, so now that means we can't put Liv back in the mid. I don't think that exists. I don't think that's a thing. I don't believe that is something that they would think of when they're booking, because we've seen a lot of people that have gone up and achieved like big things. I mean, look at Big E. Big E went up to the the main event scene. He was champion and then ended up losing the title, and to be honest, coming straight back down to kind of a mid-card role. I mean, before he got his injury, he was in, tagging with the New Day again, wasn't he? He'd kind of gone up, hadn't, really set the world on fire, came back down to the New Day, got injured. We've seen it with Kofi, who had his moment, kind of came back down again. We've seen it with Drew, who was champion and then came back down and feuded with Madcap and flipping Happy Corbin. So, I think that if she does lose the title, there is every chance that she does go back down. But this is her chance now to make a statement and for it to be known that she is worth investing in. Right, we've got about 40-odd seconds to go. About 40-odd seconds to go until we go over to AEW Dynamite. And as we said, we have spoke about all the matches that are on the show tonight. I don't know what's going to open the show, but looking forward to this week's episode. Daze, I'm not sure if you've seen, Tiffany from NXT 2.0 is a star. She's talented and she could become a new star on the main roster, says Jordan. Classic Daze not noticing me. You would notice me if I was a UFC NFT. I'd find you more interesting as well. Jim says, to be fair, Xavier got hurt, so replacing Woods with Big E only makes sense. They didn't have to go that way, though, did they? That's the point. The point is that he went up to the top of the card, and then he ended up coming back down, and going back with the New Day. I mean, he could have gone up to the top of the card, and he could have stayed there. He could have been, a feud for Roman. He could have been kind of sniffing around that Brock Roman, picking up the pieces afterwards. It didn't have to be, say, Riddle and Roman. Big E could have got another shot after, or he didn't have to go back down to it. That was my point. Here's Wardlow. So it looks like we're going to be starting with the street fight. How Cody is presented could change by tomorrow. By the time he comes back, Vince might sour. Vince is known to change his mind. Cody's presentation is fool's gold, in my opinion, says Brenton. Here's Wardlow making his way down to the ring. Wardlow equals TNT champ. So Wardlow getting into the ring. Wardlow isn't winning now, says Tahil. Wardlow on now. It's a good way to start the show, in all fairness. Might as well start the show with a bang. Here comes Scorpio Sky with... we do have quite a few people. I mean, we've got Ethan Page. I can see a collection of people here. We've got about, what, Dan Lambert? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got about 6, 7 people making their way down. So, unsurprisingly, Scorpio Sky not coming down on his own. Surely Wardlow doesn't weigh in at 277. He's not that big. Starting and ending the show with title matches, says Brent. Jordan said, Wardlow is everything WWE wanted Ryback to be. Wardlow chants from the crowd. I do think, though, that WWE hurt themselves there. I was personally never... It wasn't my cup of tea, the whole feed me more kind of stuff. I thought, like, that feed me more catchphrase was a bit stupid. Wardlow just kind of comes down and just looks cool. I mean, he doesn't have, like, stupid catchphrases and everything, so... Here we go. Bell has sounded, and Scorpio Sky comes out, and some nice striking by Scorpio Sky. Gets thrown into the corner. Charges into Wardlow. Wardlow in the corner of the ring. Scorpio Sky into the center. Strike coming into the side of the head. Knee coming into the body. Leg kick on the outside by Scorpio Sky, who goes against the rope. Shoulder tackle by Wardlow, and Scorpio Sky goes down. So Wardlow derailing the momentum of Scorpio Sky. Against the ropes goes Scorpio Sky. Kick coming. Oh, that looked low. That looked real low. Against the ropes goes Scorpio Sky. He gets caught belly to belly and hurled over the head of Wardlow. So low blow by Scorpio Sky. Obviously anything goes in this one. He gets thrown across the ring. Scorpio got hit. Nice throw again. Commentary just previewing the matches that we've got tonight. Crowd firmly behind Wardlow as Scorpio Sky rolls out of the ring. This is topical. Did you see Wardlow's comments about wanting to be another version of Jeff Hardy? Said he grew up small and didn't have a growth spurt muscle until he was a late teen. I didn't see him say that, but I have seen him talk about Jeff Hardy before. So yeah, that's cool. Look, American Top Team getting in the way. Wardlow threatening to take them all on, but gets thrown into the ring steps. Goes over the ring steps, attacks from behind, and American Top Team are mugging him, getting involved. I mean, like, I know this is what I'm about to say is irrelevant, right? I know this is pointless, but I don't understand why in pro wrestling, I know what the answer's going to be because it's always been that way. That's going to be the answer, right? But why is it that if two people are having a street fight and it's no DQ, why are other people allowed down at ringside? Like, you can still ban people. Like, if I'm Tony Khan, I can turn around and say to people, you ain't coming down. You ain't coming down to the ring. So I could still have the ability to ban people, and these two could go out and do a no DQ. And if it's a case like, well, you can't tell them that because they don't work for you, well, this is my show then. I've rented this building. This is my show. That's my ring. So you're not allowed in. So either you listen to me and you don't come down to ringside, or you're not allowed in. I know it's nitpicky, but I just think that it's super predictable here that Wardlow was going to be outnumbered. And I think that would be something I would like to see from a wrestling promotion. I feel like the Pure tournament from Ring of Honor did it, where if you came down to the ring, you got suspended. Which was such a great idea. I'd love to see wrestling adopt that. Would love to see wrestling adopt that. Whereby, literally if there's a match between two people, it's two people. Only people allowed at ringside would be the managers. And all of this entourage, just get rid of them. Don't need them. Jaden, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Says, how are you, Mr. Daze? How is your day going? I'm doing all right, thanks, buds. I'm doing all right. I'm constantly doing little tweaks, little bits, trying to make the streams just a bit more engaging. As I said, I've done a lot of work with super chats. I've installed the scroll at the bottom, which you can't see at the moment because it's hidden, because it will display the results. So if you do join a stream late, hopefully you can jump in and see exactly what's happened. So obviously for those that have been kind enough to donate, their names are on screen now. The alerts have been sorted out again, so I've got them fixed. I've got the scroll at the bottom. So I've just been doing bits like that, to be honest. Just trying to make the streams a bit more engaging. Strikes coming in by Scorpio Sky as we're fighting over in the corner. Wardlow said he did flips and corkscrews because he was small. I think 5'6" and 150. Then he got bigger and stronger, says Brenton. Big Time Baxter says, I get what you mean, but this is Ronda. She is the most protected female in WWE, a former UFC fighter, and only lost 3 matches. If Liv pinned the 4 horsewomen, it's not as significant. Okay, well, I mean, I can only tell you what I think, and what I think is that it's not going to play a part. I don't think that you can pin your hopes on that's going to result in her not going back to a mid-card or anything. What will decide her success is how she does as a champion. Like, I stand by that. I don't think that the booking decision to have her go over Ronda is going to play any part in Liv's future. They won't back, if this title reign is going to be flat, they're not going to back her just because she beat Ronda. To the outside, we got Wardlow throwing someone on a load of people that were standing around outside. Scorpio Sky nails Wardlow with the belt and a kick out. So Wardlow threw someone to the outside on top of American Top Team. And whilst there was the distraction, Scorpio Sky used the belt. Couldn't get the win, though. Scorpio gets hurled into Dan Lambert. Spinebuster by Wardlow. Straps are coming down. And Wardlow grabbing Scorpio Sky. He's going to look to powerbomb Scorpio Sky, and he does. Fans want him to deliver another one. He's delivered one so far. Fans want more. Looking for another powerbomb, and he gets it. American Top Team, they're still down. I know, again, they're not the focus, but, I mean, someone fell on top of them, and all of them are down still whilst this is happening. Wardlow gets the victory, so we do have a new champion. Wardlow wins. He is the new champ. That is it. Wardlow wins. The community called it. They did. 75% said that it would go with Wardlow. That was 339. We've got confetti raining down. Lots of confetti, actually. God, it's gone crazy. Wardlow's jumped out of the ring. Goes to the entrance ramp. So, Wardlow is the new TNT champion. So, Wardlow wins the TNT title. We've now got Jon Moxley, current interim champion. I agree. It doesn't matter who you beat to win the title. Drew beat Brock, and Drew's run got stale, and they took the title off him, says Going Ghost. Eric, shout out to you, dudes. Wardlow gold before MJF. Plain view NY is soft. Eric, hope you're well, buds. Shout out to you. I can read what you are saying. So to beat American Top Team, you throw someone on them. Yeah, to me, not a bad match at all between Scorpio and Wardlow there, but one that definitely loses points just because of American Top Team. American Top Team, that match would have been so much better if they just wasn't even out there. I mean, they predictably jump on Wardlow. I didn't need that. Then you get that spot where someone gets thrown on top of them. Personally, I always think that looks silly. And then, like, not only did they get thrown on top of them, they stayed down for so long that it just made it look silly. Like, for me, American Top Team there didn't ruin that match, but if I was to change anything, I would not have them out there at all. I think you just don't need it. Wardlow, Scorpio Sky, you could have had a really great match. Dan Lambert could have done the cheating. Dan Lambert could have done a little trip as Wardlow goes against the ropes. You know, you could have found ways, or as Wardlow comes, Lambert smashes him with the belt. Like, there's other things that you can do. You didn't need, like, American Top Team out there. So, for me, yeah, that's the only little grumble, but I got no problems with Wardlow winning the title. I'm intrigued to see what he does now as champ. I do worry a little bit about Scorpio, because I do think that he is someone that's a great worker, and I thought that putting the TNT title on him was a really brave move, because he's not someone that really, in my mind, does much for the ratings. But if you put that TNT title on it, you're kind of saying, this is someone that I believe in. He might not do much to the ratings. He's not a Bryan Danielson. He's not a CM Punk, but he's someone that I like. He's someone that I believe in. I want him to have my mid-card title. And I thought it was a brave move, and I really liked it. So for him to now lose that, I do worry a little bit as to where, what the future holds for Scorpio Sky now. But hopefully nothing but good things, to be honest. Hayden said, what a way to kick off the show. Wardlow against Scorpio Sky. Snee Vegas TV said, why doesn't Malachi wrestle for the belt instead of his lackey? His lackey won the Rampage Rumble. So he did. He has got a legit reason as to why he's competing for that title. I also think that we haven't seen a great deal of Brody King. So, he's been in like the occasional tag match, but I am interested in watching him in a singles match, and for him to get that opportunity. It's the downside is that it's all a little bit predictable. Brody King isn't going to be losing to. Imagine if he did. Imagine if we get a new AEW interim champion tonight. That would be wild. But I'm not expecting him to lose tonight. Let's put it that way. I'm expecting Moxley to retain. War Dog is cool, but Sky barely did anything but beat Sammy, says Minty. Big Time Baxter said, I do wonder if Becky was originally pegged to win Money in the Bank, because I feel like maybe Becky said, listen, I think Liv needs this more than I do. She impressed me at day one. Give her a chance. I don't know. I mean, I do know that there's a lot of the superstars like Liv, and I think that if they can help her, then they would. And actually, Becky said when she went off to go and be pregnant and she was having a kid, she said to Liv, I'll see you when I get back, and, you know, you better have been champion by then, because she liked her, they were good friends, she believed in her. And that was actually part of the day one build, was that Liv told that story that Becky said, you know, you better be champion, and that she hadn't achieved that. And here she is now, day one, taking on Becky. Obviously, she wasn't successful there, but yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised if Becky had kind of backed Liv as well. But I really don't know. I haven't heard any reports of that. Here's Keith Lee. This is Mark Sterling and Tony Nese. Keith Lee said he does have some trust issues with Swerve. But we are still winning, unlike you. And so Keith Lee walks off. Okay, we are going to our next match. Let's turn this down a little bit. How many weapons were used? Could have just had a regular match banning the entourage. True, yeah. Here's Christian. Christian Cage has made his way out. Christian's been doing some fantastic work. I do find myself getting excited for his segments. Here comes Luchasaurus. I don't quite know if we're going to get a promo here or a match. They haven't really announced anything. Haven't heard from Luchasaurus yet. We don't know the situation, or at least I don't think there's been, unless there's been like a YouTube kind of exclusive interview. Luchasaurus getting into the ring. Oh, here we go. Christian's going to talk. It's going to be interesting. So, Christian promo is what we've got now. You think you deserve to know? Why? Luchasaurus decided to align with me. Boos, lots of boos. Okay. What is this? Wasn't expecting Hardy music, but here's Matt. Matt Hardy comes out. Matt Hardy comes out in a Delete shirt. You're like the Michael Jordan of being an a-hole, says Matt Hardy. It's a good line. Bring out the king of the DUI, says 50-50. Captain Charisma does his best work as a heel, and I am good with this, says Heather. Ninja said, I love the toy hunts. Appreciate that, dudes. Did manage to get one done, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? That's on the channel. Christian said, so you're going to pretend that you're buddies with Jungle Boy. You're starting to make your brother sound like the sober one? Wow, that's a killer line. You are starting to make your brother sound like the sober one. Wow. A-hole chants from the AEW fans. You want to use Luchasaurus to make as much big money as you possibly can. I'm guilty of it. He says that he regrets the kind of Matt Hardy family stuff, you know, where he was with Private Party and everything. I'm out here right now to make sure no one else is taken advantage of. Everyone knows you're a clout chaser. You'll even turn an eye to your brother's issues so that you can ride his coattails for one last run. This is gripping stuff. Christian is doing some of the best work in pro wrestling right now. Jeff isn't the embarrassment to the family. You are. Headbutt by Luchasaurus. Matt Hardy goes down. Luchasaurus jumps out the ring. Grabs Hardy. Hurls him into the ring steps. We still don't know why Luchasaurus has decided to partner up with Christian. Or stay under his influence. Big boot by Luchasaurus. So Luchasaurus now with Hardy and drives him through the timekeeper's table. Bring out Wyatt, says Erase Your Mind. Brenton said, I agree with Last and Cornet. Christian is great. Thank God he is now a heel. Minty said, I'm loving this. But Justin said, this is stupid. Salvador said, Matt gets paid to be beaten up. Rest with Andy says, if you had to guess, when would you say MJF returns? I would say that it will be in about 4 weeks. I just saw in the arena there's an advert which says September something for AEW All Out. I can't imagine MJF is not going to be on that show. Can't imagine he's not going to be at All Out. If he's not at All Out, they are really flipping committing to this on a level that I don't know that I've ever seen. So I've got to think that he'll be there. If he is going to be there, he's going to need to build towards his opponent and his match, and we're going to need like a story. So I mean, it could be that if he wins the match, he gets let out of his contract. Maybe they'll do something like that type situation. If he beats whoever, then he can get out of his contract. Whatever it's going to be, you're going to need time to build it. So I think maybe you could have another 4 weeks of him not being around. That's just a guess, though. I am literally just basing that on All Out being in September. And so if it's in September, then bring him back in August, and that'll give us time to build towards All Out. Right, we've got Claudio and we've got Hager face-to-face backstage with Tony. So Claudio against Hager next week. Here comes Butcher, Blade, and Bunny. Pyro going off as Butcher, Blade, with the Bunny making their way down. Butcher and Blades. I can't remember who they're facing, actually. Let's have a little look. Butcher and Blade against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Lee and Swerve. Brenton said, who returns first, MJF or Jeff Hardy? This is making me think they're setting up a future tag match with Jeff, but I could be wrong given his troubles. I think my feeling on it, I can absolutely see why you would think that, and it could be that. My feeling on it was that they want someone credible, noteworthy, a bit of a name that Luchasaurus can get like a win over. So I'm guessing that it's going to be that. I'm guessing that like Hardy is basically, whilst Jeff's not around, going to be in a little feud with Luchasaurus. I mean, I say feud, it might just result in one match next week, or one match on Rampage or something like that. I don't know that it'll go beyond that, but I could see them looking for people to like feed to Luchasaurus, and you got Matt Hardy on the roster. He's got a history with Christian. Kind of makes sense. So I'm thinking it's that. I'm just thinking it's that. Hello, Legend Killer. Claudio gives me Sammartino vibes when he gets mic time, said Zoom Station. I can't wait for the last man standing match between Roman and Brock at SummerSlam, says Ninja. AEW mentioning WWE by name is becoming a weekly thing, says Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Right, we are underway. We've got Keith Lee in the ring with Blade. Blade starting off the action. Keith Lee, and we are just getting Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's interesting. That's one that I think MJF could return at, is at Arthur Ashe. Could come back there. That's at the end of July. It's still a bit earlier than I was thinking, so I'm going to stand by my original thought, which is he won't be there. But it's big. That's a big show in it, Arthur Ashe. But saying that, tickets and viewership will have been, secured without MJF. I can't see him coming back before that show. So I'd have to think that there's no need necessarily to bring him back on that show, unless you just want to have a big moment that as many people as possible are going to be witnessing. Considering AEW is made up of WWE stars, it's hard to ignore, says List of Jericho. What happened to the Keith Lee Swerve dissension? Will that happen tonight? Well, we did see them backstage. Just Mark Sterling with Tony Nese went up to Keith Lee and made that point of how things aren't great between them and there is a bit of dissension. And Keith Lee said that he, things aren't totally harmonious, but Keith Lee laughing? Keith Lee laughing? There was a botch there. A botch where I think Swerve was trying to jump over. Oh, I tell you what, there are some botches here. Keith Lee is on the outside of the ring, just laughing, man, at some of the botches that are happening. Tag. In comes Keith Lee. Shoulder tackle by Keith Lee. Swerve jumps in and delivers a drop kick. I gotta tell you, right? If you get, I mean, look, who cares about botches? Yeah, I mean, botches are gonna happen, and there was a botch there. I really like Keith Lee laughing at it. I sort of like Keith Lee embracing it. I sort of like Keith Lee not just pretending okay, just carry on with it. He was laughing, see what he's doing. Look at this guy. I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. I don't mind him laughing at it. It feels more real. I think if you're in a tag team and your partner's in there and they go for something and they mess it up, as long as they're not on the verge of about to lose, you probably would be like, what are you doing? Just get over here and tag me in, would you? I feel like that actually lends a little bit to the realism. Big shout out to Kieran. Appreciate the support, my friends. Big shout out to you, buds. We are here for Raw, AEW, SmackDown. We do regular watch-alongs. I do want to try and start doing little after-show reviews as well, but they won't be super long. Probably be little half-an-hour things or something. But I do find that we do talk about a lot of things throughout the show, and then at the end we do a quick little recap. But I'm just thinking that a lot of people that don't watch the show live probably would enjoy, if that recap was a separate thing on the channel. So that is something that I am considering doing as well. So we might start, haven't fully got there yet, but we might start doing our streams. And as soon as the show ends, we shut them down, and then we go into another stream, and a separate stream, so that it's a separate video afterwards. Where we just spend about half an hour, and maybe we move the reviews and everything into that. So, and we kind of go through the whole show. It's a bit of a recap, but it's where the reviews are as well. And yeah, definitely thinking of doing that as well. So there could be even more coming onto the channel, which will be fun. Right, we are underway. Blade is with Swerve. Why do you push once the inevitable breakup of the team comes? Who do you push when the breakup comes? Lee or Strickland? I like Lee as a monster, but he talks like an accountant, and I'm all right with Swerve. Who do you push at the end of it? I feel like it's, for me personally, I would be pushing Keith Lee. So Swerve is someone that I think is good, but I don't think is great. At the moment, I mean, I've seen him in NXT. I'm looking at him here. I feel like he's absolutely TNT championship quality. I don't know that he's AEW world champion quality. I mean, for me personally, I don't see anything that really makes him stand out from a Scorpio Sky, a Sammy Guevara, a Darby Allin. I'm struggling to see what makes him stand out of the pack. And I know, some of them names are massive names that will surely go on to become world champion anyway. But I can't see how he gets his time to shine. I can't see how he separates himself. At the moment, he doesn't, to me personally. Keith Lee is someone that's got a great look. As you said, he looks like a monster, and that is part of the battle. I think in regards to his promos, that's a relatively quick fix. You can, I'm sure, give him direction of what you want, and you can change that, or give him a manager and just don't have him talking. But yeah, I would be looking at Keith Lee. Keith Lee feels like the bigger star to me. Vape Ross Vape, knocking me around, says, come on, do a G1. It would put hair on your chest. No, I'm not touching New Japan. You know, we've spoke about it. New Japan are absolutely awful when it comes to, like, copyright stuff. I genuinely was concerned that there could have been an issue with Forbidden Door, which is why we moved it over to the Wrestling Escape Pods. But thankfully, there was no problem. But we have had copyright strikes from them before. Nice throw by Keith Lee. Keith Lee's in there and a forearm smash to Blade. Kieran says, you're my favorite YouTuber. I love the videos. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. I'm hoping to get more videos on as well. You know, I'm constantly looking at what we can do to level up. So yeah, we should be getting some very soon. Nice kick there by Swerve. Butcher goes down. Who do you think will challenge Moxley after tonight? That's a good question. I mean, like, it's Brody King, isn't it? So I'm just going to take a wild stab that it might be Alistair, it might be Malachi. Because if Brody falls short, is there a chance that Malachi comes down and then we get, like, Brody's partner in crime face to face? I think people would love Malachi against Moxley. So I don't know if there's potential for that. But I can't say that I've seen any teases of anyone, so I'll just base it on that. I'll base it on Brody King's partner in crime coming down. I think the manager for Lee would be best. His issues with promos were brought up in WWE, and Lee even mentioned he has to be inspired to be angry. He can't just be angry in promos. Well, if that's the case, then we do need a manager. Then we do need someone that's... I also think we need some new ring gear, because the ring gear that he has feels very indie wrestling. It's always felt very indie wrestling. He tends to have, like, some nice shorts or a nice singlet or something. And then he'll have, like, Limitless, and he'll have a logo on the side. He'll have, you know, Bask in My Glory written on his back. I mean, it's all fine. It's all, you know, like, he's got Keith Lee on his backside here, but it just doesn't feel classy. It feels very indie wrestling to me. And a win for Swerve and Keith Lee. It's all right. But he is a monster. He can go in the ring as well. Okay, we've got Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs making their way down. Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks have made their way down. Or might it get Keith Lee in the baddies? He needs to be one of the baddies. He could be the replacement for Red Velvet. Yes, Malcolm Bivens is a great manager. Tell you what, Bivens with Keith Lee would be great. Yeah, I agree with Bivens being put with him. Maybe I wouldn't have him as a baddie, but... Ricky Starks getting really out. Ricky Starks really giving me like Ric Flair vibes. Really like getting over, you know, OTT. Here's the Bucks are coming out. So Starks and Hobbs came out, and we've also had the Bucks. Sorry to come out. But actually, I don't need to apologize for anything, because we started this damn company. Tag division's on fire. Everyone's eating well, but let's not forget who set the table. You two teams are very good. You had a very good match. It was 4.5 stars, which is great, but that's an off day for the Young Bucks. But there's always drama when the Bucks are around. Brenton said, thoughts on Starks and Hobbs as a team in singles? I think they could be built up as a heel team and eventually beat FTR for the AEW tag belts. I really like Starks. I've always been impressed with him. I think Powerhouse Hobbs is what he says, you know, he's a powerhouse. I don't know that they've got the momentum in my eyes. And I would really struggle to see them as legit competition for a team as good as FTR at the moment. But as you said, if they were to be invested in, then we might get somewhere. We might get to the point where we could actually see them beating FTR. But at the moment, I would struggle with that. I did just notice that did not play the correct one. Let's go. Right, Young Bucks have cut their promo. That is not the right one that should have played. Where is the one that should have played? Right, Moxley, Brody King, that is coming up tonight. That's the one that should have played. You will not be cheated. Do 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 do. Do love a bit of Daft Punk. Bit of dancing. Here's Malachi. So, Vishal, shout out to you, my friend. Vishal said, I think Keith's aura is great. I would have him as someone who is almost regal instead of a monster. I love when he does the deep breath and orchestra thing. So you'd have him be someone that was quite regal instead of being a monster. That's interesting. It's interesting because I can't... do you know what? I think if you're going to do it, you've got to go for it. This halfway house that he's in at the moment is a big problem because he looks like a monster and there's not really anything that's presenting him as not being a monster. But then he cuts a promo and he is quite... Salutations, everybody. Like, I sort of feel like his entrance gear, his ring gear, his entrance music, everything's got to go regal. If he's going to go that way, if he's gonna go into his, you know, the way that he talks and the way that he promos, then, you know, you've got to go in that direction. But at the moment, he's kind of in his kind of indie attire. He looks like, you know, like a big guy, but he doesn't really like come down with like entrance music or cut promos that sort of reflect that. Like, I think you've got to lean in one direction. You've got to go in one way. And at the moment, he's kind of caught in the middle. So, I mean, look, if you want to see him go down that road, the only thing I would say is go for it. Go for it and then see what it looks like. It could be awful. It could be a massive success. Talking of massive successes, here is Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston. Congratulations to everyone that was on the team, even you, Claudio. Jericho, you made me a liar. I'm going to get you again. Jericho's on the screen. You want to taste my blood? You want to get crazy with me? Ty Conti slams a door on the arm of Ruby Soho. So Kingston calls out Jericho. Ruby Soho attacks. I remember they did that with we've seen that before with when they did it to, I don't think it was them, but it was to Dustin Rhodes. Remember? Slammed like right at the start of Dynamite and slammed his arm in a car door, and he sold that injury. It's very reminiscent of that. Do you remember my music career? I might bring it back if Web still do clips. I do remember your music career, and there was one that you submitted that I thought was good. You did it with someone? Was it Dave? I do remember one of them being quite catchy, so I do remember it. Tomato says, will Bray come as a number 6 Dark Order member tonight? Is this Brody Lee's hometown? It's Rochester, which I think, am I right in saying that was? Is that? I'll double check it. I don't want to get that wrong. But we're in Rochester tonight. There's been no rumours of Bray. So if he was to be joining AEW, which I do think is probably his most obvious like landing spot, then it would be quite the surprise. But yes, this is Rochester, New York, and that is Brody's home. Is it me, or is this the best Dynamite in a long time? Says King Rico. I think it's fine. I think it's all right. I think there's. I don't think there's anything that's necessarily blown my mind on the show. Equally, there's nothing that's been bad. So no, I think it's been so far so good. Thoughts on Starks and Hobbs as team? Oh, we answered that one. Yeah, I think that for me they just need building up a bit more. I like Ricky Starks. I like Powerhouse Hobbs. I could be wrong here, but when I think about them, I don't think of an unstoppable force. I don't think of a team that's on like a crazy win streak, that's got great momentum, that's a real problem for other teams. I just see them as a team. And I think if that perception can change, I mean, they might be picking up wins on Dark Elevation. I really don't know. But from what I see on like Dynamite, Rampage, it hasn't kind of come across to me that they're on like a mad winning streak. They're a problem. I think if you was going to have them beat FTR, you're going to need to do a lot of work to like build them up and give them that kind of momentum. But, I mean, they've got the skills. Ricky Starks is a great talent. Powerhouse Hobbs is a little bit greener, but he's got the size. He's got the strength. You could get somewhere with them, absolutely, yeah. Right, we've got Taz and Excalibur on commentary. Here is the Dark Order. -1 is there. So, -1. They're just showing some of the things that -1 has been up to on Dark. Okay, so we've got Anna Jay, we've got 10, we've got Silver, Evil Uno. We've got a man in a mask and a suplex machine on commentary, says Larry. Right, Big Brody chants. John Silver says, the Dark Order is in Rochester. Rochester is Dark Order country. Here's Evil Uno. We've got important news. Every single one of you is what made Dark Order what it is today. Feels like they're splitting up or something. The 6 of us are here to stay. Okay. Dark Order is forever. Okay, so they're handing the microphone to -1. -1 was about to speak, but QT Marshall's coming out. No, Colt Cabana. Yeah, no Colt, yeah. Your legend's a your legend's a father. Your father's a legend. But you take after your mother. Why is QT Marshall coming out to threaten a child? I don't understand. Like, why is this happening? Here's Hangman. I personally don't think that this is what should be playing out on Dynamite. I think you can get away with this on like a Dark or an Elevation. I understand that we're in Rochester, but I think there's like a million other things that you could do to like honor Brody. I don't think you need like QT, whatever this weird, whatever this thing is weird between QT and -1. QT coming down, send all your friends away. Let's have a fight one-on-one. He's like, how old is he? 13 or something. Whatever. Here's -1. He's finally got the microphone. Is that it? I think that's it. I mean, what I will say is it is great that they include him on the show. I mean, you know, the kid lost his dad. And even though, like, that's not a story or an angle or a thing that I would be doing, I still give him massive credit for having him just come out there with him. I think that's really cool. I think that's, you know, the right thing to do. But the segment is to calm the rumors down. AEW is releasing the Dark Order, says Junior N. Where's Ruby Riott? She got beaten up backstage. Here's Jim Ross coming out. They've started to do this more and more now. Jim Ross getting his moment on the show to commentate on the second hour. So JR coming out, going over to commentary. Taz, Excalibur, Jim Ross, no Tony. Tony seems to be doing a lot more kind of backstage interviewing now. Speaking of Colt, I read somewhere that he recently resigned. The article said he's planned for future stuff in Ring of Honor. Good old JR. Dun 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 dun. Right, what have we had? So, what do I need to add? I need to add Dark Order promo. Okay, we've got Penta. Following contest. Okay, so Penta making his way out. I love hearing Jim Ross' voice. Okay, so there's Phoenix as well. How did Brody Lee pass away? Was it something to do with his heart? I know it was something that he had struggles with for a while, and obviously there's a lot of here we go. It's a respiratory system illness, thickening and stiffening of lung tissue. So it was his lungs. Yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I haven't heard if he had like a history with it or anything like that. He'd been receiving treatment since October. He passed away in late December. Despite what some fans believed at the time, the issue was unrelated to COVID. Revealed Hubert died a rare condition which caused lung tissue to become irreversibly thickened and stiff. I've never even heard of it, you know. Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is what it's called. Awful. Awful. That's, I mean, that's quite scary, isn't it? It's quite scary that there's something like that that can happen in your body and it's irreversible. Your lungs just get stiff and thick, and how awful. Yeah, as I said, you know, I've got nothing but praise for them to like including negative one. I wouldn't want like that to get twisted. I like the fact he's out there with them. I just think that little story of him and QT is just strange. Right, Penta against Roosh is what we've got now. I don't remember seeing this one being previewed, but we are up and running with it. And we are an hour into the show as well. That's gone, that's absolutely flown by. If I was AEW, I would buy Kevin Kelly's contract, have Taz as color, have JR as special for big matches, Tony as an interviewer, and Excalibur as a concession guy. Good structure to the show. The match with King could lead to BCC versus Aleister Black and Co. Confident Claudio gave a hell of an interview as well. Big Bun, shout out to you. Donald said, I love listening to you. I'm in hospital. I've got a very bad pinched nerve. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. I hope you make a speedy recovery, my friend. Speedy recovery. Rich Bruce said, I've got a friend that died from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Brought back painful memories when you mentioned it. Sorry to hear that, dude. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of the condition. So it's kind of interesting to find out about, but horrifying at the same time, and certainly if you've had a friend that's passed away from it as well. I thought he would read my comment. I will try again, says One Larry. Try again, One Larry. It will happen. It will happen. Eric said, who's the guy with the box on his head? It's Kip Sabian, and he's trying to get over that way. I mean, I've seen him work in indie scenes, indie shows, where he like comes out with the box on and then takes it off just before his match. He's kind of like trying to reinvent himself. I think he's really throwing himself into his training, and like he's a work in progress type thing. And he's been out there months and months and months with the box on his head. Months. I don't know. I don't even know if he's on Elevation and Dark or what they're doing with him, but damn, they're playing the long game with that one. I know that. Against the ropes goes Penta, over the top, comes crashing down onto Roosh. If Penta loses the final of the AAA Triple Mania tournament and loses his mask, will he lose it in AEW? I would think so, yes. I would think so. I mean, to be honest, I've never really watched Mexican wrestling. I've never really watched CMLL or AAA, so I'm sure those stipulations have probably happened before, but I couldn't give you any examples. But what I do know is that it's very... I'm thinking back to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, when he lost his mask in WCW, he kept it off, and he had to go to Mexico and speak to like a lucha council to get... You probably wouldn't have to do this now. But back in the day, he had to go and speak to like some people to get permission to put the mask back on. It's so like important, the mask. Like it really is a big deal to get to have your mask removed. I mean, look at how Mysterio has, tried. He doesn't succeed all the time, but he tries to protect his identity. There's plenty of pictures out there of what he looks like. Mainly the ones you tend to see are from those WCW times when he did demask and was made to take his mask off. But you see a lot of him where he's kind of covering his face like this so that you can't see like exactly what he looks like. But the occasional picture still gets out. But it's really, it's a big deal. It's a massive deal. So I would have to think that if they did demask in Mexico... I'm guessing that would mean that, they demask everywhere. Doesn't have to. And certainly in this day and age as well, I mean, I would imagine it's probably quite different to how it was. You could probably get away with not having to take your mask off in AEW. Do you think Darby should be getting a bigger push in AEW? I feel like he could be a top star, but he loses quite a lot, and one of those losses was to Kyle O'Reilly, says Austin. I think that he's one for the future. I think that he has got every chance of being a top star. I think that he is... He would benefit from getting away from Sting, to be honest. I think that having Sting by his side for this kind of... however long it's been now, extended period of time it's been good for him. He's been able to get a lot of spotlight by being with Sting. But I feel like the impact of Sting as CM Punk came on board and Bryan Danielson came on board and Adam Cole came on board, the impact of Sting lessened. When you saw Sting at the start, it was like, it's Sting. And there was like the snow and all of that kind of stuff. And then as all these other new shinier toys have joined, the Sting doesn't feel... I mean, he's still a legend, but I'm just saying that when he comes out, it doesn't quite hit the same way that it did. So I think that having Darby with Sting for that period has been great, but I think it's run its course. So it would be interesting to know where like Darby goes once they separate, and you might start seeing them making some money moves. Because at the moment, what with him being with Sting, he can kind of do what Sting did. I mean, Sting wasn't always around the title in WCW. Sting was that Undertaker type character. Undertaker was not always around the title, was he? I think what Tony's trying to do is he's trying to create an Undertaker Sting type character. And he's, having a little look at Darby and seeing if Darby could do that. You might look at like a Malachi and House of Black as being a little bit more along those lines. They're obviously still relatively new, certainly more recent and newer than what Darby is. But we've seen Darby up in the the roof, kind of watching down the way that Crow Sting used to. And I think that we don't see Darby as much. I think like they tried to keep Darby kind of feeling a little bit special. The only thing I would say is Darby's a little small. So, like, Undertaker's a big guy. Sting's quite a big guy. Darby's quite small. Darby has to lean more on chucking himself around. So, I don't know if he's imposing enough to kind of play that role and be that role. But I feel like they've used him in that role, which is the role that Sting had and Undertaker had, and it doesn't necessarily require him being a champion. But as I said, once they move him away from Sting, it'll be really interesting to see how they use him then. So we've got both guys down in the ring at the moment. Comparing Darby to Taker, yeah, not in the sense of... Well, only in certain aspects. I mean, in the aspect of how Undertaker never needed the title, how he was kind of kept a little bit of an attraction, and I think that's what they've tried to do with Darby. I mean, you don't see Darby every single week. We've seen plenty of Darby up, as we said, in the roof, sitting there with Sting. So, we've seen him there. Obviously, he embraces the darker side of things. If you think about some of those vignettes that we've seen from Darby as well, like the black and white vignettes where there's like, he's driving in a car, like as part of his intro and everything. I mean, look, the comparisons to Undertaker end pretty much there. So I'm certainly not saying that he's got Undertaker's presence or Undertaker's size. Or, there's plenty of differences. But, and he's not the person that I would choose for that role, to be honest. I think that you could have had someone like maybe a Karrion Kross that could have got, or a Lance Archer maybe. Could have had a Lance Archer that could have been embraced his more, like his darker side. And you could have put him with Sting. And he's got good size, and he could have been up in the rafters. And they could have done, like, interesting vignettes, and they could have done something. So I personally wouldn't have gone with Darby in that role. But I do feel like they have used him in that role. Which, as I said, requires him not having the titles. It means they can focus on other people. But I do think that the spotlight will come on to Darby. Big strike, forearm strike by Roosh. Undertaker wasn't always the man today. His faith in the future whilst respecting the past. Here we go. We've got Penta. Oh, package driver. 1, 2. Foot on the rope by Andrade. So... we've got Phoenix coming round. Phoenix on the outside with Andrade. Jumping up. Roosh getting the pin. Referee has spotted it. And he gets the 3. Roosh has done it. So Roosh has picked up the victory. There was a distraction on the outside. I give up. You guys can copy and paste. Why did it take so long to time me out? Oh no, we got some drama in the chat. Right, we've got Satnam Singh and we've got Jay Lethal. I think Penta is going to lose his mask and that'll cost him a lot of matches. Just trying to hear what these two are saying. We've kind of really pulled back on Satnam Singh. There's a Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view that's coming up. And that's going to see Samoa Joe defending his Ring of Honor championship against Jay Lethal. Okay, so Roosh beats Penta. Who is Joe beating at Death Before Dishonor? Is that that show, is it? He's going to be facing Jay Lethal. What about halftime scores? Well, we sort of missed them, didn't we? But you can put them in so far. Put them in now. Put them in and see. We'll see what people's scores are. This is we don't get many breaks on Fight TV. It's always hard to know when we go to commercial break. So, but I can tell now because we've just got a graphic on screen. Paige announced tomorrow is her last day with WWE. I do wonder if she brought this on herself because when third-party deals were banned, Paige put her foot down and said no actions. Said her actions have consequences. Here come the scores. I think he's been having matches on Dark. Can you see Larry's messages? I could see Larry saying that I'm not reading them, but I've seen the messages where he said I'm not reading them. Jilly said, when I see the words Roosh, I think of Tom Sawyer. Adam said, Lee and Liv were interviewed at the same time on the bump. The WWE Hall of Famer is 100% supporting Liv as women's champion. Jeremy, shout out to you. Larry was explaining he's lost his wife and daughter to a drink driver, but he's getting comfort from the streams. Oh. I'm really sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. I haven't seen any of those comments. I only saw the ones where Larry was saying that I wasn't seeing, his comments. So, yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, Larry. I'm pleased that the streams bring you some kind of comfort, dude. It's, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that tend to, get in touch and say that they're going through things. I mean, obviously nothing as difficult as, what you're going through. I mean, that is horrific, dude. So, yeah, thoughts absolutely with you. And I know that the community will be right there with you as well. So, appreciate people letting me know that. And Larry, I apologise for not seeing your messages, but I wasn't ignoring them or anything. I just jump in and read whatever I can and then go back to the show. I'm sure you understand. Right, we've got Tony Nese and Sterling. Here's Danhausen. Do you think the first appearance back for MJF will make him the biggest thing in AEW again? And what is next for him? I think it'll make him one of the biggest things, yes. One of the biggest things. I don't know that it'll make him the biggest thing because it really depends when he comes back. I mean, when he comes back, he could be coming back around the same time, say, CM Punk could be coming back. And honestly, who knows what else will be happening and who else will be coming through and what will be happening with Blackpool Combat Club. But he'll be one of the biggest, absolutely, yes, absolutely. Eric says, Larry, we have got your back, buds. Here's the Acclaimed. Listen. Oh, Gun Club just snapped the microphone. We got some drama, have we, between the Acclaimed and the Gun Club? I thought there was a bromance. So yeah, the microphone was snapped away. Gun Club and the Acclaimed taking on Ruffin It and Fuego del Sol. Ruffin It and Fuego. And is that Bear Country? Bear Country. This was a match that we never got advertised. Is that Fuego? I believe so. Quick trivia. Who made up the team of the Executioner? Oh, I hate doing trivia. I hate doing trivia because it's a flipping memory game, innit? And then, like, you're just going to encourage more questions, and then we'll get flooded in questions. What was it, though? What was it? I'll give it... I am not encouraging this being a regular thing. Who made up the team of the Executioners? They were the champs in 1977. I've got one name in mind, and I cannot think of the other. One name I've got is Big John Studd. It's funny you should mention that because I was listening to John Arezzi, and he spoke to Big John Studd. I don't think they spoke about Executioners, but whenever I think that, I do think of Big John Studd. And he was with a legend because he was the young guy. There was an older guy and the young guy, and the younger guy was Big John Studd. But I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. See, this is why I don't like trivia. Because I'd have to think about it. And that'll bug me. Let's get Daze past 300, like said Master Chief. Thoughts on Hook, says Slaughter J-A-E. Thoughts on Hook. I like him. I'm not a fan of him being with Danhausen. I like him. I'm not a fan of him being with Danhausen. I think that he has got great potential, but he is a long way from like being AEW World Champion or anything like that. We do need some interesting kind of creative stuff for him to do, but I don't think the Danhausen thing is it for me. But, you know, listen, the AEW hardcore fan base were into it. We've got a victory here for, unsurprisingly, for Gun Club and the Acclaimed, but there's real dissension. Okay, so Billy Gunn having words with his club because they have turned on the Acclaimed. Oh, and Billy Gunn has as well. So, Gun Club have turned on the Acclaimed, and I think that's a shame because that's something that people seem to really enjoy. People seem to really enjoy these two teams being together. Famous by Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn's got a great side. He's so jacked, isn't he? He looks great. That is Leon Ruff. Oh, what? He goes by the name of Ruff in it now. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Killer Kowalski. Damn it. Appeared on Jerry Jarrett's first show as an NWA promoter in 77 Mid-South Coliseum. Yeah. Well, I would like to think I would have got it eventually. But I can't make any guarantees about that. I won't be here on Saturday. It is Eid. Eid? Is it Eid? I mean, I'm guessing you know what it is. So shout out to you, Right, we've got Miro on screen. Not sure about you, but I don't want to see Bianca in another women's title match at WrestleMania unless she's a champion. Do you think WWE could sell Bianca versus Charlotte without a title? Do I think they could sell Bianca Charlotte without a title? Definitely. Yeah, I mean, look, both are top women. That is not going to be a problem. You'll have to have a good build. But, do you know what I mean? If it gets a bit personal and it has a good build, then, yeah, of course, you can sell any match. And those are two top talents, both super athletic. Probably Bianca more so, but, yeah, that'd be good. Right, here is Nyla and Marina Shafir. So we're moving on to our next match. We've got just over half an hour to go. Nyla and Marina versus Thunderstorm. It was against Von Wagner in a steel cage. Opened the show, went 13 minutes. Do you think Money in the Bank changed when Cody got hurt and they went in theory instead? Yes, I do. I think the plans changed quite a bit, yes. Will Lana be on AEW, asks Brenton. Surely Miro has asked about it. To be honest, I don't know, because I don't think her dream was ever to be a wrestler. I don't think that, getting into wrestling is what she wanted. I think she is someone that just wants to be famous. I could be wrong there, but I think she is someone that was an actress. And I think because of the Lana role, she's got a following. She's got a good following, certainly on the likes of TikTok and social media. She's probably getting paid, quite a bit to do like some sponsorships, advertising, things like that. I don't know. I don't know that she's desperate to come into AEW. Don't know. She probably does miss the thrill of going out and performing in front of people. So I would imagine that she would like to do it, a little story or something. Maybe if Miro finds himself in a feud with Sammy and Ty, and he needs a female partner, then maybe he'll go and get Lana. But to be honest, week in, week out, I gotta think she's probably quite happy doing whatever it is she's doing, which I genuinely don't know what that is. Right, we are underway with this one. Thunderstorm is super cringe, says Tim. Lana wants to work in acting and not in wrestling, says Jordan. Excellent promo was done on Monday, and George Shea introduced Joey Chestnut, says David. Lana would only remind people of that horrible angle with Lashley that no one wanted to see that. Not many would care to see her expensive pop. I don't think an intentionally recognised superstar would be scared of trivia. Guess I'm the last superstar standing, says Brenton. Oh, I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of it. If anything, it's scared of me. But I probably, if I'm going to be honest, would find myself in the situation that I just had, which is I'm in the right area. I sort of know the answer. I just maybe need a bit of time to kind of like get the name. But yeah, it doesn't really play too well on like watch-alongs. I mean, obviously, if it's going to be like something pretty straightforward, but I mean, how often do we talk about the executioners? I mean, never. So, like that kind of stuff, that kind of more obscure stuff, that's a real going back into the memory banks kind of a thing. And I'll be honest, I think my memory banks are a bit corrupted. Oh, a little bit corrupted. Oh. All NXT brand show. I enjoy UK on it. It's got New Japan vibes. What, the NXT UK one? As I saw they're bringing back Jordan Devlin as like some new name, as if like we're meant to forget that he was Jordan Devlin. I did see that doing the rounds, which I thought was pretty wild. But I suppose you can do that with developmental. But it's mental that it's on network TV. I mean, if this was like FCW or OVW and it was kind of away from like network TV, then I feel like, you know, you could get away with that. But if you've been watching NXT, you'll be like, that's Jordan Devlin. Not JD McDonough or whatever is being repackaged as. Don't know. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it works for him. CJ Perry has got an OnlyFans. Of course she does. Of course she does. And her and Miro have a new TV show debuting in October, and that's why he was away. Daze, it's called Google. That's how most people get their information. The last letter added to the English alphabet was J, says Coach Co. Oh, hello. The letter dates back to 1524, and before that, the letter I was used for an I and J sounds. Michael said Jordan Devlin is his real name, fake fan. Brenton said that would be a cool stream, channel content idea, trivia, videos, giveaways. Daniel said, what do you think of Young Bucks versus FTR for a third time as the series is tied 1-1 as the main event? FTR are the most over people in the company. Young Bucks against FTR for a third time, definitely, but I'm in no rush for it because I think that those are some of the most special matches that you can make. Do you know what I mean? Like that is just like Cena and Orton, really. Like, they are each other's polar opposite. They are both trying to establish themselves as being the best. Same as Cena and Orton, both polar opposite, both trying to establish themselves as being the best. And they could end up facing multiple times as a result. I mean, Cena Orton was OTT. It was done way too much. But I kind of like what they're doing with Bucks and FTR. They're doing their own thing, and then, like, you know, they do face each other, but then they'll go back to doing their own thing. So I do like that. Marina Shafir is in the ring at the moment, and we've got Toni Storm down. Shafir was just walking around, but she grabs Toni Storm, drags her back to the corner. In comes Nyla Rose. Still waiting for some WCCW streams. Oh, you might be waiting a while, dude. Might be waiting a while. Jordan Devlin is J.D. McDonough now. FTR is better than the Bucks, says James. I find FTR to be a bit bland, said List of Jericho. Brenton said, did you mention when the Arthur Ashe was? Was it July 30th? It was September last time. I'm guessing they've just booked it whenever they could, is my guess. They maybe want it to be more like in the summer or something. I don't know the reasoning behind it. But yeah, there was a little advert that popped up for it. I'm sure it said it was like 21st, something like that. I don't even know. 21st, I'm sure, which would be in, 2 weeks' time? Arthur Ashe Stadium. AEW. Yeah, you're right. It was 22nd of September last time. This time... Agree. The article I've got doesn't have a date on it, but I'm sure they mentioned earlier it was like July. Tickets go on sale July. Oh, maybe it's tickets go on sale in July. Let's have a look. History was made, and we are going back. Yeah. So they're going back in September. So there is a graphic. Let me show you. Let me show you the graphic. There is a graphic that says Friday, July 22nd, but its tickets go on sale July 22nd. So it is going to be back in September again. I've just lost my charger now. Thunder Rosa is tagged in. Thunder Rosa is in against Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is down. Against the ropes goes Thunder Rosa. Collides into Nyla Rose. We've got 26 minutes to go. Do you think this show will get a 1.0 rating? I don't look at the ratings, to be honest. I only ever tend to look at how many people are watching. So, like, the ratings has never done it for me. I understand that that's what, like, the advertisers look at and everything, but I think this will be a decrease on what we saw last week. So what we saw last week was, I don't know the rating, the demo rating, but it was 1 million. We got over 1 million. Got to think that this week we're going to go back down to 880,000. I'm expecting 880. I'm expecting that ballpark. If it's higher than 880, it's been a good week. Lower, well, it depends how much lower. 850 is not really a problem, is it? But that's what I'd be expecting. Thunder Rosa picks up Marina Shafir. And good teamwork by Thunderstorm. And there we go. 1, 2, 3. Thunder Rosa pins Marina Shafir. And it is a win for Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm picking up the victory. Thunderstorm beats Shafir and Nyla. Ninja, shout out to you. I just wanted to ask, who do you think will win out of Brock Roman? I think Roman wins. I don't think the plan was ever to do this match. So I think this was meant to be Randy. Yes, plans can change, but I don't think they are going to put the belt on someone that was not originally going to be in this match. Okay, we've got a new baddie here. Is that's that girl from last week, is it? Okay. Rampage. Takeshita is taken on Kingston. Do you think with Tony trying to pair up all the women's teams that he is trying to avoid what WWE is going through? And could AEW women's tag titles be on the way? I'm sure there will be. If there's a way of introducing more belts, I think they'll take them. So, yeah, I think women's tag titles will eventually come in. I can't say when, though. Fyter Fest, is this next week, is it? Have we got Fyter Fest next week? Swerve in Our Glory, Young Bucks, and Ricky Stark's Powerhouse Hobbs. Man, they're trying to promote so much at the moment. They're trying to promote Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. They're trying to promote Fyter Fest. They're talking about Rampage. Wheeler Yuta takes on Daniel Garcia for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Rampage lineup looks terrible, says Lance. I knew the date sounded odd. July 30th is a bit early if they want returns like Punk MJF, not to mention a potential Omega return. James said MJF won't be back for a while unless he and Tony agree on the money, but MJF made it clear that he wanted to hear all offers. That was OVW Women's Champion Layla Gray. She was the one that faced Jade the other week, didn't she? And she lost, and so they've brought her in now. So it's interesting. She's not really a name, though. I mean, even if she is OVW Women's Champion, doesn't really mean anything, does it? It's still a very small promotion, but interesting. Interesting that she's achieving things in that indie world. But yeah, I don't know. Not the most exciting addition to that team. Imagine Roman retains at SummerSlam and Theory's music hits and he cashes in. I think people are expecting that. Tim Warner bought TMT for show. Do you think it's a tough pill to swallow for tag teams in AEW to know the only place to thrive in is as a duo? Huh? Do you think it's a tough pill for tag teams to know the only place to thrive as a duo is AEW? What, are we talking about WWE? I mean, no. I don't think it's necessarily a tough pill to swallow. I think what they need to do is find a way of, showing that tag team wrestling is worth investing in. And, look at what Street Profits and Usos did. I mean, they, for a lot of people, stole the show at Money in the Bank. It's not so much what other people think. You need Vince to think that as well. So when you get an opportunity, you need to take it. And I think you've got to find a way of impressing Vince, to be honest. Vince doesn't really care for tag team wrestling. Never really has. Knew it was important in the 80s, 90s. But I think as time has gone by and like WCW went out of business, I sort of feel like we've seen a lot of like solo stars just being chucked together. A lot of teams that have come up from NXT just haven't really worked out, or just haven't really had much opportunity. I think that if you do get an opportunity, though, you've got to take it with both hands. You can't. You need to find a way of giving him what he wants, but also like knocking it out of the park. And sometimes those two things can be very difficult to do. I'm thinking in particular about Revival. So Vince wanted Revival to do like comedy stuff, and them in the showers like shaving each other's back and everything. They clearly want to be what they're doing now, which is professional wrestlers. So it's very, very difficult to, like, how do you give Vince what he wants? But equally, how do you knock it out of the park and get incredible ratings, but still please yourself? Like, it's really conflicting. I could understand tag teams feeling conflicted and frustrated. I could definitely see that. But I think that whole division just needs to prove that, you know, they're worth investing in. Or leave. Or do what Revival did and leave. Maybe tag wrestling in WWE is gone, but I could see a singles run for Montez Ford, says Dave. Dave, shout out to you, buds. Hope you're well. Speaking of too much promotion, did you hear Discovery wants AEW to do more pay-per-views? I don't want more pay-per-views, but I think there may be a sweetener for a new deal. I think AEW has the right number of pay-per-views. I think they could do more, but if they did more, they need to be in your house, cheap, short type things. I don't want more 4-5 hour things. In all fairness, if they did more and all of the shows were cheaper and shorter, that would be even better. I'd be totally down for that. I do think that when you get to a pay-per-view, you get like a really nice boost. You get a really good kind of vibe. There's an energy. There's an excitement. And I think that it's hard to replicate that with Dynamite. Like Fyter Fest next week, it might get a little something extra, but I don't know that it's going to get much. Because they do, I mean, it's not been too long since we did Road Rager. You know, we do tend to get those kind of theme shows on a semi-regular basis. So I sort of think that I could understand why, you know, you've got something like the pay-per-views that's delivering some decent numbers by all intents and purposes. Apparently, the numbers keep getting stronger for the pay-per-views. You do run the risk of watering it down and, you know, stalling the growth. It is going to be a balancing act, but I do think that if you made the pay-per-views cheaper and did more of them and a bit shorter, I think you might be hitting a sweet spot for more people. It hit a sweet spot for me. I really don't mind them doing, say, 8. You could do 8 pay-per-views a year, no longer than 3 hours, and drop the price down from 50 quid. Or however much they are, $50 or whatever. Here's Moxley. How much will the Ring of Honor pay-per-view be? Well, that's a good point, actually. 'Cause, you know, you might have to start thinking about them as well. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. Because I don't mind, say, 8 pay-per-views for AEW, but I ain't then going to be starting to buy another 8 pay-per-views for Ring of Honor. So, yeah, that's a good point, that is. We don't have loads of time here. Brody King and Moxley are going to go one-on-one. And we've got around about 14 minutes, that's all. Brent said, I read somewhere that AEW did about 3.1 million for Forbidden Door. 4 million when combined tickets and pay-per-views. Numbers were about 125. Yeah, Tony, I think, tweeted out some... I don't know if he tweeted out those numbers, but... I did see that Forbidden Door was deemed a success, and some of the numbers were quite impressive. I mean, the 125 buys isn't... Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm thinking about UFC numbers. That's low for a UFC. But, you know, for an AEW, that's obviously going to be not bad. And, you know, for a show which had a lot of criticism going into it because it was like half New Japan, half AEW, for them to still come out with 125,000 buys at, you know, quite a high price point is not too bad at all. But I totally get your point, which is, you know, it is in a bit of a sweet spot for a lot of people right now. Do you do you gamble with that? Do you mess around with that? I mean, sometimes that decision is taken out of your hands. If it's what the executives want, and you need to take that into account as an owner, then you might have to just go with it and make it work. Brody King in one corner, and we've got Moxley in the other. Just do 6 pay-per-views for $60 and 6 HBO Max specials for $12, says Junior. Delmar said, did you ever see Eric Young say Triple H told him the reason Vince hates tag team is the fact he's got to book 2 to 4 plane tickets for duos? I didn't see that, but I have heard that everything's got to be booked twice. Yeah, you get one match, but it costs you twice as much. And you've got to have, two plane tickets, and, it takes up more catering and... Yeah. I mean, that it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It makes perfect sense that he would think of it from a monetary point of view. Brody King and Moxley face-to-face. Brody King looks great. Big forearm strike by Brody King. Chopping away. Moxley goes against the ropes. To the outside goes Moxley. Brody King jumps out the ring. Double axe handle. We're on the outside of the ring at the moment. Brody King in control. Hurls Moxley into the barricades. And Moxley goes down. This Moxley character reminds me of the Sandman, says Larry. Death Before Dishonor is $19.99. Hopefully it goes on to Honor Club, because I've still got that till October. Vince is a billionaire who gave $3 million to a mistress but is too cheap to buy a second plane ticket, says Brent. Brenton said, if more pay-per-views means a new TV deal, Khan's hands might be tied. As I said, I think they've got the right number. Ring of Honor pay-per-view makes me think they have a TV deal, streaming deal for Ring of Honor in place. Interesting. Stiff, great, snug work here, says Brent. Right, we've got on the outside. Yeah, I mean, look, this is... Oh, nice. That body drop by Brody King. Moxley goes crashing down in the entranceway. See you around, buds. Going over into the timekeeper's area. The table flips over. Is there no count out in this? They've been on the outside a long time. Big chop there by Brody King. 6? He'd got up to 6. How did he get up to 6? Surely we were up to 66 by that point. Dragon screw by Moxley. Figure 4, and there's woos. Woos going around. Tony said TBS has told him that they will stay for the action for this match. I wonder if there will be an overrun. Probably there won't. It's sometimes just something they like to say, but we... have we seen an overrun before? I feel like we have. That might have been on NXT, though. MLW have signed a TV deal with Sky, says James. Interesting. Legend Killer, shout out to you. House of Black always wins, says Milo. Brenton said, this show has flown more than I can say for WWE. Do you know what? It has, actually. It has. It has flown. I will give it that. Absolutely. Do you know what I would say about this Dynamite? And, some people might say, I'm wrong. But to me, it's just felt like an average, solid show. But it's been fine. I mean, I don't even say that as, like, a negative. It's been average. But in a way that they could deliver this every week. Easy. I feel like this kind of show that you've just seen has just been solid, but not spectacular. But solid in a good way, in an enjoyable way, in a way that's been very easy to watch. The action's flown by. It's been fine, good in places, and now we're getting a decent main event. And there is absolutely no reason where, all right, you can't do an AEW interim title match every week, but, there's no reason why you can't deliver a match of this caliber each week. And in all fairness, AEW do a decent job of, getting around this level. Sometimes it's, not to my taste. Sometimes it's fantastic and we get, some crazy moments. But, I think that this has been pretty solid. Moxley down, 7 minutes. Brody King making this competitive. Brent said, thoughts on an OVW deal with Netflix? I read this could impact WWE and AEW, but I don't see how. Am I missing something? I mean, I haven't heard about an OVW deal with Netflix, but the only way that it could impact them is if somehow they've signed an exclusive deal, so no one else, no other wrestling promotion could go onto Netflix apart from OVW. But why would Netflix ever put themselves in that position? I mean, they just wouldn't, would they? So I can't imagine why that it would have an impact, unless there is a crazy clause that says no other wrestling promotion is allowed on Netflix for X amount of time. But, them going on to Netflix, I mean, it's got to be a positive thing. There's a lot of stuff on Netflix, though. A lot of stuff on Netflix. I mean, going on Netflix is one thing. Being found on Netflix is something completely different. I feel like Lucha Underground was on Netflix for a time. Huge chop by Brody King. Huge chop. Even Brody King's kind of like, oh. John Moxley gets knocked down. His feet are slumped against the ropes. Brody King, big chop. Moxley stumbles over to the corner. Brody King goes walking over, slow and methodical. Brody King going over, grabbing Moxley. Oh, another big chop. Huge chop by Brody King. Monstrous. And again. Moxley in a lot of pain here. His chest is red raw and he goes crashing down. And I bet it hurts inside. That is the one I was thinking. Blackpool Combat Club needs a female to take on Hart. Maybe Riot, says Brent. New NXT Women's Tag Champs last night on Great American Bash. Perez and Jade defeated Toxic Attraction, says Adam. Dave, see you around, bud. Hope you're well. The OVW Netflix deal is for reality shows, not wrestling shows, says James. Oh, it's interesting. It's interesting. Brody King goes hard into the corner. Mandy Rose against Roxanne Perez for the NXT title on Tuesday, says Adam. Brenton said, what's your thought on Brody King's look? Cornette and Lastfield, he looks too indie-rific. I can see that, but I don't hate it. I think he looks great. Covered in tattoos. There's nothing in his ring gear. I mean, indie-rific to me is Keith Lee. Keith Lee's ring gear looks quite cheap to me. I actually think Brody King here looks great. Ring gear looks great. I really like his boots as well. They look really smart. They're black but with like white sort of flame pattern attire on. So yeah, I really like it. His actual in-ring, so the stuff that he's doing in there with like the chops, there's a lot of chops Some of the stuff that we've seen a lot of recently, and what certainly with the New Japan stars, is where they will chop at people. You know this. I do agree. It looks silly where people are like, okay, come on, and this is meant to be a contest between two people trying to win a match, and I understand that there's going to be a bit of bravado that comes into it, but I do struggle with those spots where people want to be chopped, and like they're just chopping away at each other. I do struggle a bit with that. I think someone like Moxley can get away with that, because someone like Moxley is someone that you could believe was addicted to pain. Like Moxley and Suzuki doing it, I can buy into that. But I feel like we saw quite a bit of it in the build towards Forbidden Door, and at Forbidden Door with people doing like those chops. I'm just seeing it again here as well between these two. I think it's a spot that you got to be really careful with that. So that would be like one of the only bits that I've seen that's been like something that I'm always a bit unsure about, uncertain about, and not crazy about. But I actually think this has been one of the best Moxley matches I've seen in a long, long time. Brody King in control and looking really good in this match. Gets backed up in the corner. It's a great showcase for him. Great showcase. Great spotlight for him to show what he can do. And what he can do is a wonderful sleeper hold where he's actually got Moxley up in the air, feet dangling away. Brody King walking over to the other side of the ring, charging over. Oh, and a great-looking cannonball as well. 1, 2. Moxley very nonchalantly got out of that pin then. He just sort of stood up. He stood up out of it. Back elbow. Moxley charging over, collides into Brody King. Moxley goes in the corner. Brody goes after him. He rolls him up. 1, 2. Some of this stuff from Moxley doesn't look that great. Moxley. Paradigm shift. Paradigm shift by Moxley. Brody King is down. He's going to look to roll him over. Oh, he's going to go for those elbow strikes to the side of the head. He's just elbowing in, and Brody King no selling. There's a sleeper applied, but Brody King getting back up to his feet. Moxley has jumped on the back here of Brody King. Brody King seems to be fading. Dives back, plants Moxley. It looks like we are out of time, you know. Oh, but Moxley grabs him. Moxley trying to choke out Brody King. Bulldog chokers applied. Brody King goes out. Moxley wins. So there we go. Moxley gets the job done. Moxley beats Brody King. That's exactly what happened at the end. Moxley wins. He does. Moxley beats King. So, there we go. Moxley stands tall with the AEW Championship. So, Moxley standing tall with the AEW Championship right at the end. I think that show probably overran maybe a minute or so, but I thought that Brody King looked good in that match. It looked like he belonged. I thought that Moxley was doing well. Just at the very end of the match, I thought Moxley's comeback looked a little bit off. Not really anything disastrous or anything that, like, you know, ruined the match. But yeah, there was just a little bit in the comeback that I wasn't crazy about, but he picks up the win. Nice looking bulldog choke. He was always going to win it, so I don't think that's going to come as a surprise. But, yeah, we fade to black. There's no challenge. No one else comes out to challenge Moxley. He just starts walking away. We've still got the images on screen right now as Moxley goes up the entranceway, holds up the AEW Championship in front of the face tunnel. What did he do? Did he throw the belt? Oh, he dropped the belt on the floor. He dropped the belt down, kind of celebrated. Picks the belt back up, puts it over his I thought he'd chucked the belt. William Regal is there to greet him, and they walk off together. We're just seeing Brody King is still selling on the outside. He's back on his feet. Brody King on the entrance ramp. Obviously, I'm not expecting anything to happen here because this is not something that's being shown. This is just something that Fight have got. Malachi has come out. So Brody King is on the ramp. Malachi is making his way down. Malachi staring at Brody King. Puts his hand on the back of his head. Darby Allin has come out and Sting has come out. So we've got Darby Allin and Sting that have made their way out. It's Sting! So Darby Allin and Sting on the entrance ramp. They applaud. Darby Allin just applauded as Brody King towers over Darby Allin. Absolutely towers over him. You earned this. Darby Allin puts his hand out. He wants to shake the hand of Brody King. So Darby Allin has got his hand out. Brody King doesn't shake the hand. He walks away. Malachi walks past Darby. Malachi and Brody King go down the heel tunnel. That leaves Sting and Darby on the entrance stage. I think Sting just said it is what it is. Sting looks out at the fans. Darby looks out at the fans. I'm guessing that's going to wrap up this little moment. All right, let's get into the chat, and we'll put the poll up. What did you score? AEW Dynamite. What did you score? AEW Dynamite. Six, 2, 6, 7, 5. 575 or below. They're taking the ring apart by the looks of it. Oh, I don't know if they're taking the ring apart or if they're maybe getting set up for Rampage. But they are, we've just got, it is great actually that we can see this stuff which doesn't like play out. You don't see it in America, I don't believe. But that's what we've got at the moment. Look, just some people kind of working on the ring. There's people milling around the ringside area. We have just seen Sting and Darby Allin and everything, but you can see they're just changing over like the aprons at the moment and getting ready. As I said, I'm guessing for Dark. I don't know. Maybe I'm about to watch Dark. Normally they cut the coverage by now, but guys, we might be changing over the graphics. We might be Dark. I keep saying Dark. Rampage is what I mean. We might be about to watch Rampage. Getting your thoughts. They're changing it to Rampage, says Lister Jericho. Brenton said, thoughts on AEW bringing in ex-WWE guys? I think there's a balance. I've heard criticisms of it. Imagine Man United not signing players from other teams and only talent that they develop. Yeah, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm not someone that cares whatsoever. I think that you go and get the best available talent that's out there, and undeniably the talent that's coming from WWE's main roster is going to be of interest. And like, I think I agree there is a balance. You can't just sign people because they've been on WWE's main roster. Like, you know, you need to be signing good talent that you can do something with, but no one's criticizing them for signing Claudio, surely. And if you are, you're only doing it... Oh, my God, now we've got Tony Khan. You're only doing it because, like, you're not a believer in AEW. There he is, look, there he is. What's he saying? Friday night on TNT. He said it's going to be a great Rampage. And I will see you guys after. AEW forever. See you again. He throws his arms in the air. Gets a cheer. Walks back through the tunnel. So Tony came out. Spoke to the fans. Didn't get much reaction, to be honest. Didn't get much reaction. There was a bit of a cheer, but the camera immediately cut over to the crowd. And they were sort of like, I don't know, man. If that was Vince was coming out, people would like lose their minds. With like Tony, perhaps it's because like you just see him a lot more. I swear to God, I'm about to watch Rampage. Like, they still ain't cut it. They haven't cut it, and we are at the point now where the ring is like properly set up and everything. We're pretty much good to go. We're pretty much good to get that first match underway. Is he shouting? In all fairness, he could have been, but the sound is kind of obviously a little affected by the fact that I don't think I should be seeing this footage right now. It's like they forget that it's being shown on Fight, or someone just forgets to turn the feed off, or doesn't know to turn the feed off. But yeah, right now we are just watching them set up the ring and change the aprons over. Change over the turnbuckles as well. Which is something that I've never thought about before, you know. But they have to change the turnbuckles because for AEW, obviously the turnbuckles say TBS. For Rampage, they need to say TNT. But yeah, we're just seeing them changing over the turnbuckles. Last criticised it by saying I don't think it needs an WWE guy whilst discovering that mystery partner for Blood and Guts, and that turned out to be Claudio. Well, I mean, I listened to Jim Cornette and I listened to Brian Last. I find myself disagreeing with them on a fairly regular basis. But I do like their show, and I do like listening to their opinions. But, I mean, their takes on, like, female wrestling, women's wrestling, I disagree with. Jim's opinion on Asuka, I disagree with. I think a talent like Claudio being available and being brought in is a no-brainer. So I think there's definitely things that I disagree with them on, but I still like their show. I still appreciate their opinions, and I like to hear what they've got to say. But I think someone like Claudio is he's a fantastic in-ring talent. The thing is that his limitations have always been his kind of charisma and his promos. So can you find a way around that? And if I was Tony Khan, I would be quite excited at trying to achieve that. I'd be quite excited at trying to find the answer as to, the missing piece of the puzzle, if you will. First thing you would do would be to speak to Claudio and just be like, what do you feel that you need? And see what he comes out with. 'Cause, the obvious answer is he needs a manager, he needs a mouthpiece, he needs to be in a bit of a group, he needs people to do the talking for him. He just needs to be the in-ring technician that he is, play to his strength. Because match quality-wise, I mean, he's one of the best in the business, he really is. Right, I mean, I'm just watching this because it's just fascinating, because we're still seeing stuff that we shouldn't be seeing. And I am legit wondering if we are about to watch Rampage. I would have liked to have seen Claudio against Josh Alexander for the Impact title, says Jim. Aseeb said, imagine if the whole Rampage goes now and then no stream on Friday. Do you know what? I'm totally down for doing it now. Totally down for doing it now. Get it done. Do you know what I mean? Get it done. I'm sat here. I'm here. We're here. We're doing an AEW stream. Let's get it done. Larry, shout out to you, buds. I feel AEW has signed too many. They're not using the talent they have to build stories. Raw Nitro similarities. Claudio's promo tonight was terrific, says Brent. I agree that there is a balance. And I agree that you can't just flood it with ex-WWE people, because you do need to be developing your own stars. People need to... you do run the risk of this being WWE light, but I think they've got quite a few stars that they've brought in. You look at Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Eddie Kingston, Sammy Guevara, Ricky Starks, Darby Allin, MJF, Wardlow. You can go down a quite healthy list of people that are talents that Jade Cargill. Talents that they have brought through. I can understand there being concern that they're going to get flooded with ex-WWE stars, but I do think that these ex-WWE stars are playing a big part in their success. I mean, imagine if you didn't bring in Jon Moxley or didn't bring in Bryan Danielson. I mean, look, do you need Sean Spears? Probably not. Do you need Ruby Soho? I thought she was a good pickup. But you'd have to say, looking at it now, they would have been fine if they hadn't. Jury's obviously going to be out on Tony Storm. Did they need Andrade? I mean, I do agree they've picked up some people that they didn't need. But, yeah, there's a balance. Look, guys, I am literally going to flipping Rampage. I'm going to Rampage. I am literally watching Rampage right now. Oh my god. Oh, I've got Rampage. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. Stream forever. Stream forever. Watching a little bit of Rampage. Watching a little bit of Rampage. Here we go. Come on. OMG. Joel said, dude, we're on Rampage. You've hit the jackpot. Yes. I can't watch it though, can I? Because like no one else is going to be able to watch it. And so I'm still going to have to watch it on Friday. So even though it's here right now. Man, imagine if they just cut this off right now. Imagine if this gets cut. But right now it's Eddie Kingston's making his way down. Eddie Kingston has come out. Wrestling Andy said, we've gone back to the future. I know, man. This is amazing. Eddie Kingston. I don't know what to do. I'm really torn. I mean, like, I feel like I've been given a gift. But it's a gift that I can't really use because, like, I've got to watch this on Friday. The only thing is, when we do get to Friday, if there's something big that's happened on SmackDown and we're talking about it and I'm missing this, at least I can be like, oh, I've already seen it. Ah! It's dead! Ah! They killed it! Just as the match was about to start! Ah! That's because I was complaining, wasn't it? If I'd just sat here and shut up. If I'd have just sat here and not said anything. Instead, I had to be like, oh, it's a gift I can't really do anything with. I've got to watch it Friday anyway. So life was like, well, don't have it then. Pulled the plug on me. Right, let's wrap this baby up. Let's wrap this baby up. I feel like I've been cheated now. I feel like I've done something wrong. I feel like I was a good boy, and then I've been a bad boy. I don't know. So I've had something I shouldn't have been watching anyway taken away from me. James said it's still on. It's still on. I haven't got it on. How have you got it? I haven't got it. I haven't got it. It went black screen for me. Go back. They were teasing us. It's still on. What are you on about? Go back. I think I've clicked off it now, though. Ah! I've clicked off it. I clicked off it. Ah! I can't go back. It went to a black screen, so I turned it off. What do you mean they've brought it back on? I can't watch it. Oh my God. Now they're showing it to people, and I can't even see it. Look, the event is finished. This event is finished. Finished. I thought the show was alright, you know. I thought it was alright. I thought, for me, Battle 7, it wasn't really anything that blew my mind. I think Wardlow winning was nice, probably the way it should go, but I did think that American Top Team took a little bit away from that match. I just wouldn't have had him out there. I know it's Pro Wrestling 101. Fine, but yeah, for me, I wouldn't have had him out there. The rest of it, though, you know, it's just really solid. I don't really get why we've split up Gun Club and Acclaimed. I felt like they were doing some really good work together. That's a bromance I would have liked to have seen for a while. Christian's promo. Do you know what? How dare I say nothing blew my mind when Christian's promo was so good? That was really good. That was really good. That was a real highlight of the show. Main event I thought was pretty solid. So I thought that was good. The Dark Order thing was strange. I said that was a bit strange. Roosh and Penta was so-so. Didn't really get a great deal of like time to like shine. It was a little bit kind of It was good to see him competing, but it didn't necessarily stand out to me. But as I said, overall, yeah, solid. Flew by. Absolutely flew by. Really did. It was really, on that front, it was really, really enjoyable. So there we go. We're done. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, it's gone now. There we go then. Awesome, guys. I appreciate the support as always. I hope you had a great time. We will be back on Friday for SmackDown. And as I said, I hope to see you all then. Awesome, guys. Bye for now.